all the pain and craziness that ensued, I was kicking my rods everywhere. Now, luckily, nothing got broke, but several of them almost fell off the boat. Now, had they fallen off the boat, they would have been at the bottom of the lake. And I can tell you one thing right there. Danny, host Justin speaks. Let me get back in. I'm good. I'm not going to pay attention to him tonight. So, again, they'd have been at the bottom of the lake, and that's where a warranty won't help you. All right. So, personal article protection policy by State Farm. For less than $70 a month, you can insure all your stuff for up to $7,000. All right. Those rods and all that I could have knocked off the boat, they would have been in the bottom of the water, and I'd have been out. All right. But definitely because Chase and State Farm have this policy, I can rest assured that had I done that, we would have been totally covered. So we definitely want to thank State Farm.
I don't think we have sound.
No, we do.
We're good. We do?
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. We did. So, all right. So there we go. All right. So now we'd like to thank a new sponsor tonight here on the Fish North Georgia show. And that is one that we're really proud to have, as you can see right here. Let me get out of the way. And that is Nofo Brewery. Nofo Brew Company is located in Forsyth County. And they have not only created some fine handcrafted beer, but they also have a unique atmosphere. All right, it just makes everybody feel welcome when you go up there. We definitely recommend you going up there. I want to give you a couple examples of some of the beers that we have right here. Eagle's Beak.
That's the one I'm currently drinking, and it is amazing.
We have met that. We've met Mr. Eagle's Beak, and it is very good. Snow Ghost. Okay, if I don't say this right, it's just because I'm a good old country boy. Holiday Saison, Saison. I haven't had that yet, but drop your pack. Born to Wander. My Potter Boy and Irish Sunscreen. And I tell you what, right, I really enjoyed, I met Mr. Irish Sunscreen earlier today. That is a very, very nice job and product that they've got. So it's located just south of Dawsonville on Highway 400, and tell them the guys at Fish North Georgia sent you. Their hours of operation are Tuesday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Nofo Brew Company is founded by a passion for craft beer, craft spirits, and a perpetual craving for adventure. We welcome Nofo and thank them for their support, and we look forward to getting to knowing them a lot better. Let's
great
just put it that
company,
way.
and it's a great taste also.
That's absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're gonna welcome more and more local companies aboard like that. So it's pretty cool when you have one that it's just right down the road. And a great product. And I think they do cornhole and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they do a little cornhole. If I'm not mistaken, I think they got a fire pit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I see some of my friends saying that they're up there. So it looks like a great place to go hang out, especially on the weekends or something like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. And I think my oldest, she likes to go up there a little bit too. So she always talks really good about that. So again, we thank both State Farm and Nofo Brewery for coming on board and supporting our show. Now, a couple of other business things that we would like to get out of the way. First, the show at Fish North Georgia is going to have a few programming changes. Okay, so what am I doing? I got a hand swinging back there.
We're big time.
Are we big time? Oh, that's right, we are big time. Ron, hey, listen, we're definitely trying to grow, and you got to bring these good local companies on to do that. So we got the Waiwega cheese right here, cheese curds from Wisconsin.
Gotta get you some of these guys.
Got to get you some of these Waiwega cheese curds. We got Nofo adult beverages. We got big swim baits in the house, so we're doing good tonight. Life is good for us.
It's gonna be a good show.
It is.
Fish
good.
are biting everywhere.
Fish, well, they weren't last night. We'll get to that.
That's because you're Danny Pruitt.
That's exactly right. So again, programming changes. So here's what we're going to do. We want to get this out of the way. All right, starting next week, we're going to bring back an old thing and take away one of the new things here. We're going to take the live show that we normally do on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and we're only going to go live one night a week, and that's going to be Thursday nights. We feel better. We feel like we could do a better product just going one night a week, giving you all the local up-to-date stuff going on the lakes here in North Georgia. And, we don't spread it too thin, basically like that. So Thursday nights, 8 to 10 are going to be the live show. But what we are bringing back is the original podcast, where I'm going to be going to all of the local – how do we want to say celebrities? Is that a good word? Celebrities?
For the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. The podcast, it'll be more of a sit down show. It'll be Danny and the guest sitting down talking. it's going to go back to the old school way. You know, when you were talking to
one-on-one and stuff like
one-on-one,
that.
it's going to be a lot more interactive between you and the guest. There's not going to be any questions being asked, so it's really going to get down and focus to the point. There's not going to be as many distractions going on and stuff. And what, every Tuesday is when you're going to try to
drop it. We're going to try to start dropping them every Tuesday. And the thing about it is, there'll be no comments. We're going to pre-record these. These are not going to be something that you can watch live. So we're going to basically have the guests in here. And again, like we started, back to our foundation where, we learned about the person as much as we learned about, the angling and stuff like that. It's very interesting to know what a lot of people, how they got involved in fishing, how they were taught, who their heroes are, what's the story behind them. And we think that that will be something. A lot of people have missed it. Josh is back in town a lot now. We can get this recording back going. We've got, the studio set up here. So it's time to bring back the original podcast that will be back on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff like that. And again, get to know the characters here in North Georgia. But now still.
And like I said, on Thursday night, it's going to be all of us sitting down here with somebody. It's going to be tournament updates, talking about tournaments. I guess we can kind of jump in.
We'll do that. Yeah, we're going to talk tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be basically a variety show. So Thursday nights are going to be a variety show. It's going to be, and the reason I chose Thursday night was because we can recap what happened the weekend before, but we can also look forward to what's coming up that following weekend. So everybody on Thursday nights are getting ready to fish their Saturday tournaments or make their fishing plans for that week. But we definitely we love the live aspect because what we love is
the interaction.
Yes. All right. So we love the interaction, but the original podcast, I've had so many people ask me for those things like that. So, and like I said, that's our foundation. That's definitely our foundation. So we appreciate it. And we look forward definitely to doing that. So again, next week, now we may not have a podcast recorded for next Tuesday. We're going to work on it. I've got a couple of feelers out, but after that, it's going to start going right after that. So, don't know what that noise was. I heard a noise, but we got a ghost in here or something.
I don't know what the hell that was.
I don't know
like
what it is.
Cats out the side or something. I don't know what that was.
Well, there's been several times we've been down here in the basement of this old place, and we heard people walking upstairs.
Don't start talking.
Listen, we go upstairs, and they ain't nobody up there.
I think you've been drinking too
much.
You
get on that. So it happens, guys. It definitely happens. All right. So again, next week, no live on Tuesday. Hopefully we have a podcast that we can put out. But then from that point on, every Tuesday we're going to drop a podcast. And if we have a lot of them recorded, because we're going to pre-record these, we may drop multiple. But definitely on Thursday nights, we're going to go back to doing the live only. And, we might not even put a time constraint on Thursday nights. We might just go.
I mean,
we're done.
That's what I was kind of thinking about earlier. We get these shows where everybody's having a good time. We just keep talking. What's wrong with letting them run over 30 minutes or something? It's Thursday. People work on Friday. We usually ain't doing nothing on Friday. Anyway.
That's true. Most time on Fridays, you're looking forward to the weekend anyway.
Exactly.
So we're definitely going to do that. So I hope you guys understand why we're doing that. We don't want to lose I don't know. How do we want to call this? I like the people being able to interact with us.
Yeah. And that's a good thing about Thursday. So guys, if y'all have questions or anything like that, wait on Thursdays. You can also Facebook message me or Danny.
Yep.
With some questions, we can try to get over them. Thursday, like I said, it's just going to be all of us sitting around having a good time, drinking a couple cold beers and
talking,
recapping everything that's going
on. And we're going to just sit here and talk and get ready for the weekend. So again, it's coming. I know there's several of you. You can tell in the comments, guys have missed the podcast and stuff like that. So we are definitely bringing that back. Now, the Electric Elite will be at Hickory Log this weekend. We're going to be weighing in roughly 3:30. So if you're in the area, we hope you can join us. We do a raffle as well for some of our sponsors' products. You can buy raffle tickets right up until the raffle. Again, all of our sponsors have a product in it. Bait Sanity, has two big swim baits in it. Good companies like Georgia Blade, Sugar Hill, Chattahoochee, 706. We just got a little bit of everything, and we love doing that little raffle. But come and see the weights, because I really think that this weekend it's setting up. It ought to be some really good bags at Hickory Log. We were out there last Friday. If all goes according to what we think it is, somebody should come in with a just absolute doozy of a bag. So again, Electric Elites are at Hickory Log this Saturday. Please join us about 3 or 3:30 if you can find parking in that little boat place parking lot. That's what they call it anyway. But come join us. So before we get to Jeremiah, and everybody knows we're going to be talking swim baits, we got one more topic that we've got to discuss, and that is the Wednesday nighters. All right, so last night we put on our first little tournament, just kind of a little throw together real quick at Little Hall on Lake Lanier, and we didn't get over. We had nine boats.
Had 9 boats,
which is what we capped it off at. We didn't want to go no bigger.
But we're doing
too dark in that corner. Hey, they said it's too dark in that corner. They can't see. We need to get the engineer guy.
I'm about to say that. What's kind of dark over here?
What's wrong? Listen, we gotta have the focus on me, man. I'm just kidding. I'm the last person anyone needs to see. We'll work on that. We'll get the guest light a little bit. We'll talk to Josh when he gets back in. But again, back to last night's Wednesday night. We had 9 boats. We went out a Little Hall. It's just something that we decided to throw together. And I think we really had a really good time.
Yeah, it was
fun. It
was a good time. I thought the weather was going to get really bad, which the wind was bad there for about the first hour. But I'm really glad for everybody who actually showed up. I think everybody had a good time and enjoyed it. But man, Danny, we've kind of talked about it, started talking about it yesterday, and we've talked about it today. We're going to try to start these Wednesday nighters every other week, so bi-weekly. And we're working with permits, trying to get some permits.
I am in the process of getting permits.
We'd like to try to get the permits to get more people interactive with it. Love to see the bigger turnouts and everything. Maybe get a couple sponsors to throw in some money to some winners and stuff.
We're working on it.
Work with something like that. But guys, the more boats that we can get in, the more places we can play or pay. Right. Last night it was just winner take all.
Little $30,
just beat the dust off rods, get out, have a good time. But what we're considering is if we can get these permits, get enough people to fish, we'll do $50. We may do 50 goes toward the whole entire pot. And, we could pay first through third, first through fifth, depending on how many boats show up.
Right.
Or we can do the 50 and it'll be 40 goes toward the pot and then 10 goes to big fish. That's something we'd like to hear from everybody. If y'all are interested in getting a big fish payout, some guys are interested in that, some isn't. Me personally, I would like to see enough boats there that you could, say 5th place gets their money back. That's something that I'd like to see happen. So
listen, Farmer, it's okay, buddy. How's the back? He was, I was fishing with Farmer last night. He heard that 706 swim bait hit me right in the back. Guys, I'm not lying. Listen, it was just, Eric Payne, how much goes to fishing for warriors? Well, I tell you this, we can do stuff like that, Eric Payne. We can work stuff like that, and that can kind of go into a bigger picture of the 501 that we are forming. There's a lot going on.
A lot of stuff going on.
And we can't announce it until technically we make sure that the name we've chosen is available. We have to set. There's just things we've got to set up. But I can tell you this. These Wednesday nighters,
they are happening.
Yeah, they are happening
every other week.
Every other week, and until we get permits, we might have to keep the field low. But it's going to grow, and we're going to open it up, and then everything we do is going to be under this umbrella of this 501 that we're creating, so that we can do charity work and stuff like that. So it's coming,
guys. Like I said, talk with your friends and talk amongst yourselves and everything, and let me and Danny know what y'all want to try to do for the payouts, because like I said, I want people to come and fish with us and enjoy it. And have a good time. I don't want
drama.
No drama. I don't want a lot of grown men bitching and crying. Like I want.
That's right.
I want to go fish on Wednesday night and have a good time. Talk to your friends and your buddies and think about it. Let me and Danny know what y'all kind of think about the payouts. I think we probably going to have it set on $50 entry fee per boat.
Right.
Like I said, if y'all want a big fish, let us know. If you don't, we'll try to pay out as many places as we can. Also, let us know about times. I know we fished from 5 to 9. That's kind of hard for a lot of people getting off work at 5. We've thrown around, 6 to 11, 6:30 to 11:30, something like that. So let us know what y'all think about the payouts. Let us know what y'all think about the times. Get with me and Danny. We'll try to get this thing worked out and try to do it for a while. And, when it starts getting colder, we may try to do something on Wednesday during the day. Something like that. So
we'll work with it. The key thing is to build it up and build it up right. Again, when I say no drama, we're not dealing with it.
No.
We don't deal with it in the leech. We're not dealing with it in this. This is not if you're the guy that's just going to get mad and stomp off, stay at home.
Yeah, don't even show up.
Don't even show up. We ain't dealing with it.
What would you call it? We want camaraderie. Camaraderie.
Community is what I like calling it. We're community.
We're a bass fishing community, guys.
We build a community, and at the end of the day, it's a fish.
Yeah, it's a fish.
Pretty much.
It's a fish. You guys that get mad over a fish or something like that. I mean, now I know when money gets involved, people, their feelings get on the line. But at the end of the day, a lot of you guys are really too serious about that $200 you win over a fish. I mean, it's just, hey,
it's not like we're fishing for $100,000, boys.
Listen,
we ain't paying $30,000
if I got
a year.
$100,000 to pay you guys for a fish, I ain't gonna be sitting in this basement right here doing this show. We're gonna be in a studio somewhere. But it is. Nathan says it right. Fellowship.
Yep.
Absolute fellowship, and that's what we were. I can tell you last night when we showed up, the guys. There's some guys that every time I see them at a boat ramp, they're good to talk to. I mentioned it on the Facebook, like Brett Matthews and Nathan and them. I love seeing them guys. Couple of good guys won it last night. Phil Johnson and Tyler Bagwell.
Yep.
In fact, so they had 16.54 for first place.
You got the weights, yeah.
I have it in my head, but I have it upstairs.
I think the top three, it was a 16 and a half, like 15 and a half,
like
and then
a little over 50. It was like 15.8 was Tyler Burton Curley.
Yeah.
And then third place was your younger brother.
Yeah, my younger
brother.
And
his partner.
So it was good.
Who's a junior at Pickens County High School. They come up there and they whip some grown men.
Still ain't bad. 16.
No.
Listen, it's not bad. And they had 14 something?
Who, Justin or no?
Yeah. 14 something. So, and again, that's the Pickens County High School. He's a Pickens County High School angler. And that is another one of the fine people we support, that school right there. So a lot of good anglers on that, but I'm glad to see a young boy come up and take it to it. But again, we had a good time. And I think at the end of the night,
thank everybody.
He did. Listen, Nathan, here's what's funny. He is Nathan Blake's twin, because if he sounds like you, and if he had your ID, the boy could go get in any bar.
I was about to say he could get in any bar he wanted to. So.
Yeah, it does. Cofield, I know some guys that would be interested. Sounds fun.
Like I said, guys,
we're gonna do it. It's coming.
Yeah, we want to grow it slow. We want to do it right. Like I said, we're working with the permits, but we really want to hear from y'all what y'all want to do on the money aspect and the time aspect. We've thrown around the idea of maybe switching a lake every other week or once a month or something also. So like I said, it's just something in the works. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not going to be here to fish the next one because I'll be down in Key West, but it's going to be happening.
That's funny right there. Yeah, Brian, and he still has his mullet.
Bring me a scale back when you get that tarpon.
You want a tarpon scale?
Yeah, bring me back one of those souvenir scales. They give you a
why?
Get your first tarpon,
because they look like a dinner plate. That's like a
right. The scale's about that big. They're huge.
That's a rite of passage. You catch you land your first one, actually get hands on it. A lot of guys, they pull the scale off of it. I've heard it's kind of frowned upon, but I want to do it. Like I said, I got my butt whooped by them last year. I got humbled by them, and I respect them, so I will take a scale this year.
So you'll take a scale. Now, is there a particular place on the fish that you need to remove the scale from?
I'd have to ask Brian about that. He's been doing it for years and years. He's got a collection of like the really, really big ones that he's caught.
Yeah.
He's probably got a stack about 10 or 15 between him and all of his buddies.
Are you serious?
Dude, I mean, their sum is as big as this bag of cheese.
Is that similar to after you kill your first deer? Some people like to wipe the blood on their face and stuff like that. I know you don't, but I mean, seriously, is that the same?
I guess
same
you could
part?
call that, yeah.
Nathan,
I mean, that's like, the tuna is going to be running down there, the black fins. I mean, we're going to sit there and eat sushi right on the boat.
You're supposed to eat a piece of the heart when you get big tuna.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you're supposed to eat a piece of the heart, cut it out. Actually, while it's still beating, eat a piece of the heart. And if it's a big swordfish, you take the eyeball and they fill it with some sort of alcohol and you drink it from the.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Listen, I don't think they sell that up at NoFo.
We ain't going that far to be
Listen,
chasing
okay, hold on a second though. That's a show right there we need to do though.
What?
Interesting things that you're supposed to do. Like, I mean, you're talking about drinking swordfish eyeballs and eating tuna heart while beating. Interesting little things that you do.
Lip when it's a big one.
Right. You are saying you take a scale off a tarpon.
I mean, we're going to have the cameras rolling. I know.
Right. But what I'm saying is that is an interesting kind of, I don't even know what it's tradition. Is that tradition?
Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of crazy ass
an interesting tradition to do with fishing. So we good there, Paulie? All right there. All right. The Mr. Paul Coonan back there producing as well tonight. We also want to send our well wishes to Josh. Yeah. Josh is home tonight and he's not feeling well. We all need to blow Josh a kiss, and everybody in the comments tell Josh.
Why you gotta give him such a hard time?
I love Josh. Josh is one of my best friends, but He is home, and I want everybody out there in the comments to please
He's
tell
been
him that.
home. He ain't been here for.
Oh no, he's been working. He's been filming.
He's been
Man's
working. That's true.
And Paul is doing an absolutely fantastic job keeping the show running.
Paul, what's the tournament you're fishing this weekend?
Yeah, what were you fishing?
Oh.
Is that come and get on the camera
Here.
real quick. Is that Josh Tatum's same one? Because I was going to write it down. All right, so go ahead and get right there in the camera. Actually, I was going to have you on the show tonight, so that you can talk, and then Josh gets sick.
Oh, look at
Blake knows how to do
Push
that.
Buttons.
Push a button.
Professional button
Hold on a
master.
second. Push a button on Jeremiah, Blake. Come on, don't get Blake. There we go.
I know a little bit.
All right,
Take it off.
That's
I gotta
awesome.
wipe my face real quick. I'm looking
all
like
right,
a
Justin
milk dud on
speaks
here.
Chattoog. All right, so they're at Chattoog. All right, so here we go. So what are we?
Give me two.
Get
All
there
right,
we
so
go.
this
too.
weekend is GAKFL event number 3, Lake Chattoog. Our awesome tournament director, Josh Tatum, as of captain's meeting last night, said that we got about 18 or 20 guys in. In my opinion, we are going to hit that lake just right, and it is going to be on fire. I'll say we're looking.
We need some drum rolls and stuff like that. Sound effects, man.
Probably a low 90-inch string to win it. I said last night, and I believe it. We're going to be looking at
what does Speech mean by what he said right there? 28 as of now, probably be 32. Is that the boats?
That's how many.
Okay, all right, I got you. Okay,
So nice. If we're mid 30s, that's a great tournament. If you're in the area, we're going to meet up after and drink some cold beers and eat some barbecue at Hog Wild Barbecue. It's just down from Fairgrounds. We'll be there probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock. If you want to see what GAKFL is about, you're interested, and you want to meet some of us, hey, just come say hello. We'll be the rowdy group of guys that look like fishermen.
That look like fishermen.
What's that? Nah, we'll
not yet.
We'll
not quite yet. Not quite yet. I will. I'll just say this: that there is something with the big mothership organization that we're building that will transfer over into the kayak world. How about that? Is that good enough?
I think that's good. I'm looking forward to it.
It is actually going to be something. We're not dropping what we're going to do, but it's coming. So that way you kayak guys can just sit there and think. But we love you guys too. You are friends of a different breed. That's all I can say. Dues, GEFKL due to fish this tourney.
GKFL is $20 due just for membership, and then it is $50 a tournament, $40 to the pot, $10 for big fish. I'm pretty sure that we pay out 3 over 10, and you would have to ask Josh Tatum about for the payout from that. Everything runs off of Tourney X, which is right now at least the industry standard, and we are using the Catchboard as our measuring device.
I love it when Josh gets on Facebook and he's got those earphones in his ears and all that. He's looking so serious when he does those.
Tatum's a serious guy.
He is a serious guy, and if you didn't know him, you'd be like, yeah,
you ever want to have fun with Tatum? Get you a cold 12er and some cornhole boards. Tatum is a great cornhole
That's
player.
what we need to do. Listen, right now we need to set up a Fish North Georgia cornhole tournament. WWE championship belts at your house? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a cornhole tournament.
$67.50 piece? I guess that's because I thought it was $20.50. I guess it's Tourney X fees this year got me messed up.
Okay,
it's still not like a bad price though.
Yeah, no, you're not dying.
No, that's good stuff.
Pretty good.
Definitely good stuff.
With 30 something boats in there, winners getting paid probably a couple $300-400. I mean,
that's awesome.
Not bad.
Yeah, you're seeing some return on that investment if you're doing well.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do that. You guys definitely, if you're into the kayaking scene, get with Paul and them, and keep your ears open. But get with Paul and them and enjoy GAKFL. Good guys.
That's GAKFL members group on Facebook or
Yes.
GAKFL League. I believe we're also affiliated officially with GKF, with the Georgia Kayak Fishing, and they arrange a lot of camp and paddle events. They're less about the tournament side and more about just getting folks together, going somewhere cool, and going fishing and having a good time. Their year-end trip at Jekyll Island is legendary.
I love Jekyll.
Ooh,
I love Jekyll.
Hey, these are great ideas tonight. Like, tradition stuff, trips.
There it is, man.
Cornhole.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're gonna set all this stuff up. So that's awesome. So anyway, guys,
Malake, you ready to come back?
you ready to come back? You ready to bring?
Give me the.
Of course,
He's headed upstairs.
He's headed upstairs. So good, just hang around. I guess
Let's
he's
steal
got
his
to take
cheese curds. While he's up
Yeah.
there.
I'm gonna take
Eat the
some of the
cheese curds.
cheese
Now,
for real.
That's pretty good. So I want to. One of these days, I'm gonna get in a kayak. Just
Come see us, brother.
Who's got a kayak I could borrow? When is this? What date is that thing?
Wish I had a kayak still.
Well, I've never.
Chatooga's Saturday morning. If we needed to find
This Saturday morning.
this Saturday
I got an elite tournament. I can't
Maybe
do it.
if we needed to find you a boat, we could.
I definitely would love to do that at some point. Just get in with you guys.
Come do one of the river events with us, man.
Could you see me in a kayak in the river?
Yeah.
My ass would be
Might be
30
paddling
miles
hard, boy.
downstream.
Yeah.
Fat
No,
boy's going
you're
downstream.
just floating. Well, that's how it is. You go downstream.
Well, who's going to pick me
Come-
up when I can't get back upstream?
You got friends.
I got friends.
You got
Okay,
friends.
there you go.
You're a big wheel these
I'm on
days.
the river.
I am not a
shuttles.
big wheel. So what I'd like to do is do that.
So we
but
take you down the Flint. We'll go catch some big shoalies.
oh
That'd be fun.
yeah.
See?
Yeah. See, I'd do
See?
that. I would do that. Let's definitely do that. So make sure you put the tarpon scale between sheets of wax paper and put in a book and let it dry out for a few weeks. It will curl if you don't do this.
Ooh.
Hey, very good information.
Insider
right there.
info right there.
You ain't in no chess club. There you go. That's yeah. Listen, we need to tell that. Make sure I don't let Blake miss that while he's upstairs using the restroom. So that's pretty good information. So Cumberland Island, but I'd like to get with Speece and you and all the guys,
That's
Tatum
fun,
and all them, just to get out there. Does Andy and them,
Yeah.
Andy and Josh, Little Fish with you guys?
No.
Occasionally, they
No,
don't.
They're a different side of the
Are
state.
they highbrow? I love them too, but are they highbrow and you guys?
No, they're not. They're great guys.
Come on, Paul.
no,
Are they
I like-
highbrow and you?
I like Little and Andy.
I'm gonna get Josh and
they're-
Andy on the phone tomorrow. Are they
they're
highbrow?
they're fishing the big time events, and they're great fishermen. I mean, they're in a lot of the club tournaments, so they get
Okay,
in.
are they? All right.
They
So
get in where they fit in, man. They're good.
they get in when they fit in. All right, so that's fine. So listen, hey, Blake's back downstairs. Listen, you see that comment from the fish hawk right there?
Yeah.
Make sure you put the tarpon scale between sheets of wax paper. Okay.
I've done that before. Not with a scale, but with a tail.
What
From
kind of tail?
mackerel.
And what
Okay.
so that you can keep the tail. And what does it
Yeah.
do? Tell everybody what it does.
What you do is you take the part of the fish. It can't be a part that like rots or gets bad or anything like that. But you can take it and you can put it in between sheets of wax paper and dry it out, and it'll stay like that, and it won't like decay or curl up or anything like that for a while. And there's a lot of people that get, if they can't get the whole fish done, they'll do a tail mount. They'll just get rid of the tail, chop the tail off, and then they'll
Gotcha.
kind of dry it out like that, and then they'll get the tail mounted.
Gotcha. Awesome. So
Yeah,
all right.
Speece, what are you gonna do if I ask for that catch board back on Saturday morning?
is that listen, I don't know what old Speece is up to. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. So good
Well,
guy
you
though.
You can't throw.
I
real
can't
far.
throw him. He's a big old boy though, ain't he? Speece a big old boy. I have to kick him in the knees, get him down on my level. But that's all right. We can do that right there. So
Mhm.
all right. So a lot of stuff you heard, we just been rambling for 30 minutes, which is what's going to be the beauty of the live show from here on out. Again, on Thursday nights, we're just going to get together and talk. Oh, Paul.
Oh, man.
Okay. So Paul is going to stay on the show. And Blake is going to play producer. This is unprecedented moves going on right here. That
show you I know what I'm doing.
well,
Oh,
listen.
making
I don't
moves.
trust you yet. We get a new sponsor, and now Blake's taking over, guys.
got real.
If we go off the air,
It's a Blake.
it's a Blake over, and we will figure it out.
Hey, y'all are the swim gate guys. I'm just
The swim, yeah, we are. That's true. We are. I'm not a swim bait guy.
I mean, I wouldn't claim to be any good at it.
That's messed up, Danny Lowe. Listen, though, hey, listen, everybody's got that smart aleck Yankee friend right there. And Justin is ours. Is that not right? Is that about the best way to put him?
That's about the long and short of it.
The long and short of Justin. So, like, that's what I say. I don't want to hear him. He's out there. I see Justin make a comment. I don't want to talk about him no more. But anyway, we love you, Justin. We're just giving you a hard time. You do great stuff. So, all right, now that we've rambled, are we ready to talk swim baits?
I thought we were gonna get the question in, bro.
No, question comes about an hour. I want to make people watch. We're
Okay.
gonna keep them hanging. So let's do that. Let's talk. So now, guys, anyway, we've got Jeremiah back on now. Jeremiah came on an episode a few months back. We talked about swim baits, and it really kind of took us a little bit by surprise. We didn't realize what we were getting into. From that, that episode, we now carry bait sanity swim baits. That's something that we do. Jeremiah posts a lot of stuff on Fish North Georgia page. Some of you guys get a little butt hurt by it because you don't think the boy. I call it like I see it because you don't think the boy's catching what he is. But I like to let it slide, and as long as it's classy, I don't mind people disagreeing with him a little bit, and I like a little bit of challenge in the room, but
little spiciness.
There's nothing wrong with spicy. All right. When you're 5'7", you gotta be a little spicy to, make the big people of the world just kind of fear you a little bit, but that's all right. But anyway, so we said we were going to have you back. We're still working on getting a setup for you to do some classes, kind of that stuff for guys on swim baits, but you're coming back. And one of the things that you kind of wanted to talk about this time is last time we talked more about the swim baits themselves. And this time we're going to talk more about the techniques and stuff like that. So we're going to do a little bit of a teaching class. In a way, and guys, as your comments come in and out, we definitely, oh Lord, I see the cursor going right now on the thing. So Blake's doing great.
We done Blaked up already.
We have Blaked up. That's a new, there you go. From now on, that's it. Did you hear that, Paul? It is a Blake. Well, listen, Bait Sanity charges all that money for baits and gives out stickers that delaminate in a little rain. Well, listen, be honest. Hey, listen. All I'm going to tell you this, I see the spiciness there, and we welcome that. But at the end of the day, it's a sticker. I ain't worried so much about the sticker. I will tell you this: I've got people coming in the store that buy those baits, especially the antidotes.
Yeah, the antidote glides.
The antidote glides, and I'm going to tell you right now, people really like those things.
Yeah, I was telling you, them things will sell.
They'll sell, and I've actually got to order more. Oh my gosh, Paul.
What has he done
click
now?
the Chrome icon.
What has he done now?
Click the Chrome icon.
He's got it.
Go.
Oh, Lord. Chrome icon.
There we go. Right there.
Boom,
We're back. We're back. So, hey, listen. I'm going to tell you this about stickers. When Josh and I first started, if you guys remember, we had that ugly ass yellow fish sticker. Were you around when that
got one?
Do you still have one?
The bass.
It was the ugliest sticker in the history.
I'll bring it and we'll put it on a window next week.
We need to put one of those in the box because eventually it's going to be like only one.
The Honus Wagner.
It's awful. So, but anyway, it is promotion. I understand that, but at the same time, nobody fishes with those stickers. But we had the ugliest sticker, and it was the worst, god awful, ugliest sticker in the world that lasted about 5 days in the rain. Maybe they will up their game, and that's fine. But I think the baits speak for themselves. Up the sticker game. Hey,
I mean, that's what I look for in a bait company is good stickers.
Good stickers and
good durable stickers.
So I mean, hey, it is stuff like that. So again, we got a question for you. Do you use mag drafts, and if so, what time do you prefer to use them over a hard bait?
Pretty much everybody knows my favorite bait is the mag draft. Favorite soft bait is the mag draft anyway. And I normally go with them over a hard bait whenever I'm fishing a little bit deeper. Most of the hard baits fish better shallow, in my opinion, I think. Plus, I mean, if you're fishing a hard bait deeper, you're more apt to lose it. And the soft baits are also typically cheaper than the hard baits because a lot of the hard baits are anywhere from, let's say, about $40 in the mid range up to a couple of $100. So you don't want to break that off 30 foot down somewhere.
I got you.
It's better to fish the soft baits in those types of places. And if you're gonna skip cast, you're better off with a soft bait too, because the hard baits don't skip.
I didn't mean to miss your point. There's we read the comments, we see them as they come in. So absolutely, if I missed your point, that's me. That's on me, buddy. And I'm sorry. I get it. But I will say,
I'll go deeper on the mag. Like, I bought some last year. I threw them a little bit. I couldn't really catch fish on them, or I didn't really get enough action to really learn much about them. I find now that I can use like a small glide bait, like a waver, kind of in place of a jerk bait in a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. What would you find the mag draft to kind of be an analog to? Like, if I'm throwing X, like, when should I be thinking, hey, I could also throw that, reach in the box and throw that mag draft and be confident that I'm doing the right thing with it?
If you're doing better on soft baits anyway, like say a trick worm or a Senko or something like that, or you're doing better on a soft swim bait, like maybe something like a Kitech or something like that, it's a good idea to upsize and go with the mag draft. And that thing will get you a bit in a lot of situations where if you're using a swim bait anyway, this thing will normally get a upsize in your bites. So I would normally go with it whenever I'm doing something like that. And if you jerk it hard enough, it actually kind of it'll come off balance and it'll kind of jerk around like a fluke. So you can skip cast that thing up under a dock and you can get it about halfway out. And if you have a follower, you can jerk it a couple times and it'll come off balance and it'll kind of jerk around and get their attention. You get a reaction strike off of doing that.
Okay.
So I kind of get that next level of commitment. How deep are you able to fish that bait?
You can fish that thing as deep as you want to.
Really?
Yeah, it sinks.
So with I know with the 6-inch, I felt that I had a lot of trouble getting the tail to really engage and trying to get that vibration on the countdown. And like once I turn the reel speed up, obviously it planes up.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
The depth control kind of becomes an issue.
The mag draft is a really great lure, but it does have a couple of drawbacks. Like the first of which, it doesn't swim down like a lot of other baits do. Like if you have a Kitech, like I've got here on a beast hook, if you take one of these things, it actually swims down as it's sinking. And if you take one of these mag drafts, it'll spiral. Kind of like if you've seen a tube jig, you'll snatch it up off the bottom and it'll kind of spin around as it gets back down to the bottom. That's what the mag draft does. It does it, but it does it slowly. It just kind of barely turns, kind of corkscrews down. And it only likes to be fished at sort of a medium speed. You go too fast, it'll blow out. And if you go too slow, it doesn't swim at all. It just kind of drags through the water. So the way that I fish it is I'll take it and I'll let it sink all the way down to the bottom. And then I'll jerk my rod tip up. And then I normally get a reaction strike too, because they're not eating it as it's falling. They'll wait until it gets down there. And then you'll snatch it and you can get a reaction strike right off the bat for doing that. And then if you slow roll it, that's normally you can get a bite too on the way back in.
Okay.
That's normally how that works.
But you're still able to get like the good action, like even counting down like deep. Like I think about a Kitech as something that I can fish anywhere in the water column. I'm like 4 feet, 8 feet, 20 feet. Don't care. Like I can just let it sink and just grind it and still get that action. And like I said, with maybe it's the 8-inch is better than the 6, but I feel like with the 6, like the deepest I could get it and keep it really rolling and feel like it was doing the right thing was only probably about 6-8 feet tops.
Yeah.
I mean, do you find that to be true? Do I need to step up to the 8 and kind of feel better about myself that way? Or
yeah, I actually don't fish the 6. I actually just bought my very first 6-inch mag draft. I've been using these things for a couple of years. So the only reason why I bought the 6-inch was because I felt like I could get a better spotted bass bite versus a largemouth.
Yeah.
So
smaller profile.
Yeah, smaller profile.
I was talking to Blake about that the other day. We were talking about it. I was like, I feel like with the one hook in the front, like I know that's where a spotted bass attacks, but I just don't trust that fish to hit the exact right spot the way that you might with a 2-hook bait. And it's that even for a big spot, like a 6-inch mag is a pretty good meal for him to choke down. He can't just inhale it the way that a largemouth can, you know?
Right. Man, you'll actually be surprised at how well they can grab some of these things. You'll throw a great big 8-inch or 10-inch bait and they'll be all balled up in their mouth.
Yeah. Well, it's like I know for I know for a fact, like a 3 or 4 pound largemouth, he has enough mouth that he sucks that thing in no problem.
It's gone.
Like it's just gonzo, yeah.
But
like the spot, obviously, he doesn't have the jaw quite that the largemouth does, you know.
Sorry about that.
This is a different kind of animal.
Gotcha.
You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
What were we talking about? Did you miss us?
I missed you. I probably missed a lot. So on the near, what has been a good retrieve for Sabills right now? Does anybody know that?
I would assume
I have never heard anybody say to slow down with the Sabile on Lanier. It is always fast and then faster and then fastest.
Okay, so do you like the new? I saw where Hammond's had the new chrome, the special edition chrome pattern that's coming out. Have you seen that?
Yeah, they got some all chrome ones over. I've seen, but I actually don't fish the Sabiles very much. I normally go with a bull shad or a bull herring. We're gonna do all of those multi-joint baits that are designed to run like that. They're pretty much the main way to fish them is to burn them. Okay. So actually, things like this bull shad, it's pretty much the same deal. You see, it's a hard body bait. It's got all the joints and stuff in it. You just chuck that out. You keep the rod tip up and you burn it fast as you can. It'll wake on top. And every couple of cranks, as it's waking, I'll give it a little twitch and it'll throw some water, look like a bait fish trying to run away. Looks just like a shad or a herring trying to get away.
And you prefer that over a Seville?
Mm-hmm. The Sebilles are smaller and thinner. I won't throw the bull shad over that.
Right.
I'll throw the bull herring. It's thinner. It's got a thinner profile. So it's basically the same thing as a Sebille. Only I like the action on the bull shad a little bit better. It looks a little bit more natural to me. But don't hit whatever.
All right. So but now I've heard a lot where people say Sebille's a little
at that speed, I would wonder if they can really tell the difference. I know they can be remarkably picky.
Right.
But when you got it really hauling the mail, I mean, you got a burner reel and you're cranking as fast as you can, and they're set on kill. Like I would wonder.
What is hauling the mail to you? Like, what do you throw? If you're burning, what are you throwing it on?
I was used to the same swim bait setup for most of all the same baits. I've normally got 25-pound copolymer and an 8-foot rod.
Right.
I've got a fast reel, 7/6-1.
Right.
I'll just strut that thing as far as I can, keep the rod tip up, and just reel that handle fast as I can get it to go.
Okay, and that same thing with you. That's kind of. I mean, what are you throwing them on?
Like a Sebille type bait. Like
yeah,
my proper swim bait setup is a Tranks, which is probably a little slower, but I would something like a Sebille is small enough for me to throw on traditional tackle, like an 8-1 or a 7.5. I just crank the crap out of it.
Yeah, I find Tyler Burt's comment interesting. A lot of times, a spot is not hitting it just to eat it; they will just hit it to kill it. Sometimes
they stun. Yeah.
They're just absolutely wanting to just. They're just mean fish.
Yeah, they're
just mean fish like that.
And God forbid you get two of them. Like
at the same time.
Yeah. When they start to compete against each other,
right?
It is just meanness up to 11.
Really?
I mean,
you're talking about like with the wolf packs come up. They're trying to get you get the wolf pack.
I think it's anytime you got more than one. Once you got two, and they're both locked in on that same meal.
Yeah.
One, whatever it is not going to get away.
Right.
That makes sense.
Two, they're dead red at that point.
And I want to say hello to Pork Taco. We're glad. I did notice Pork Taco is finally here in the comment section. I did notice that you weren't here. I just want to say I did notice. I didn't say nothing about it, but I did notice. So I'm glad you were able to make it. We always enjoy you being part of our discussions like that. So let's do this. Let's kind of talk about last night, something I experienced. On what's up, Casey Blanton? How you doing, buddy?
Something besides getting hit in the back with a flying swing.
Listen, dude, that son of a gun hit me like my ass. I thought if it had hit me in the head, it'd knock me out. It hit me so I haven't been hit that hard by something that I have unhooked in a long time. It was just deadly, and it was just dead accurate. I mean, 150 miles an hour, dead center spine. If you can imagine just my arms out like that, I don't even, and just and Farmer was fishing when he turned around and he looked like, what the hell just happened back there? But I thought I was going to die. I really did. It was just like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it home. If I took my shirt off, which I'm not going to do, people, but if I took my shirt off, there's probably a mark right now. I didn't ask. So my God, it hurts. That's a 1/4 ounce piece of lead going at 150 miles an hour hurts.
That's moving.
And it's like getting shot. So.
I had that happen to me about take my eye out one day.
Did you really?
I was dragging a Texas rig on the bottom one day. This was like years ago, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. But I was dragging a 1/4 ounce Texas rig on the bottom with a bullet weight, and it snagged up. And I pulled on it, and it shot back and hit me right up on the eyeball.
Yeah. Yeah, I got hit in the forehead one time catfishing. It was just, I was hung and I pulled. And what's funny about those, now, last night I was pulling, I turned my back, and I heard the snap. We all know that snap. Mm-hmm. And everybody, you all do this. We all tense up because we know it's coming. We just don't know where it's going to hit you. But when I was little, I remember pulling that one out from a catfish, and it was like slow motion watching that lead weight coming right at me, just spinning slowly, and it popped me right in the forehead. And I was dead out. Like, it didn't knock me out, but it hurt like everything. So, but last night, we couldn't get in our part where Farmer and I decided to fish. We really couldn't find a pattern going. All right, so you're looking. What did it get up to yesterday, temperature wise? 80. Maybe before the rain got there.
Was it that warm yesterday?
Before the rain got there.
Yeah.
Then the rain came.
I remember it was cool by the time I got home.
We couldn't figure out anything. So let's just say this. We're in some pockets.
Little springtime junk fishing.
That's what we were looking. We didn't see no bass on bed, nothing obvious. Docks, we're around docks and all that. What if you were just going to target that area with a swim bait on Lake Lanier this time of year? Mm-hmm. What would you be throwing?
At night? Like
no, late afternoon. We were talking, we started at 5, we ended at 9. So basically the last 30 minutes of the tournament was kind of under darkness, maybe 35 minutes. It probably was a little earlier because it was cloud cover and rain. Just say, hey, we're going to have a swim bait only tournament. What would you be throwing on Lanier? Because the reason I say that is because we brought up Seville's. Seville is a late Lanier bait. It's what I hear from everybody.
Right.
Regardless of color, I don't care whether everybody says that's a great bait on Lanier, but they don't ever mention another lake. So let's talk Lanier on that. What would you be throwing? And I know we're in a boat, so we're not bank fishing, but even if you were on the bank walking around docks and stuff like that, what are you throwing, swim bait wise, whatever, to catch a trophy bass, spot or largemouth right now on Lanier?
Right off the bat, I would probably go with this S waiver.
Okay.
I would go with that.
In a trout pattern? Would you go with the trout pattern?
This color or the herring pattern? There's a herring pattern that's kind of got a blue back and silver sides and a little bit of an orange belly. It kind of looks like that jerkbait color that Mega Bass makes, the Pro Blue.
Right.
Pro Blue with the orange belly. I would either throw that color or I would throw this one, and I'd throw that up against docks or up against laydowns or something like that. I would probably take a bull shad, like I showed earlier, or a bull herring, go up on some points. Secondary points over at the mouths of creeks, and I would burn that over those points, or I would go around looking for busting fish, and I would throw that there.
Right.
A wake bait might come into play if they're on the surface enough. I heard there's a
there was no surface action going on. Just the occasional carp or gar.
It's happening.
Yeah, I heard that was starting.
It's happening.
I heard topwater was starting to pick up.
But we didn't see it though last night.
I was out last Thursday. I got a few on a redfin. They were really reluctant at first. Remarkably so. I'm used to them just murdering a redfin. And it was one of those deals. As the day went on, it was like they grew into it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I was expecting the morning bite, they weren't into it, and it's usually that's the kiss of death. Like once you have a couple and they roll and they're not enthusiastic,
right?
It's just you can put it away. And it's just kind of I stuck with it a little bit, and just slowly you start to get one here and one there, and they're hitting harder and harder and harder. So that wake bait thing is definitely happening right now,
right?
Especially if you get some cloud cover.
But
if they go down to the bottom, I'm going to go with a Hood 68 or Mag Draft or the Osprey. The Osprey it's got a boot tail and it's got a big hook sticking out of the back, but it's a pretty heavy bait. It rockets down to the bottom. So if you're going to fish deep water, I would go with the Osprey. If you find them holding out a little bit deeper, I would probably go with that too.
Gotcha right there. A lot of good comments coming in. Aggressive, high-speed, medium-sized gizzard glide off saddles and long sloping clay points. You know, we should have used that last night.
You a giant striper.
Hey, I've got the striper bait though, and I've been telling the guys, this is from last night. If you're going in a pocket and you throw a shaky head all the way across and you don't like where it landed and you reel it really fast, all right, and about halfway back to the boat, last night I had, and now Farmer says it was he thought it was a 20-pounder. And if we're going to be realistic, I like Farmer and I love him to death, but I don't know that it was that big. But all of a sudden, I got absolutely smoked by a striper, and boys, I got bulldogged. I mean, he just took us to the boat. I didn't have my drag set correctly. That's another different story, but I'm surprised my rod didn't get broke. He got me to the boat and just whipped my ass straight down. I mean, I was impressed with it, but it's on a shaky head. Yeah. So you guys got all your favorite baits. Just take a shaky head and reel it really fast. When you
talk about a reaction bite, though,
right?
And a striper is, I mean, if you ever look at the eyes on one, they got great big eyes. Clearwater, where you were at.
You know what? It wasn't really dingy. I would say clearer. We were at Little Hall area.
That's that pure reaction where it's like a dog seeing a rabbit. He sees something running away from it. Boom! I'm going to kill that.
Oh my goodness! He just absolutely.
And they don't stop until they do it.
And I did. I'm really surprised I didn't break my rod.
Fighting in the boat either.
No. Definitely. Chris Taylor. They saw a few hitting top early, but only 1 and 2 here and there. That's exactly right, and that's it. Nathan wants to know. So, do you basically throw the swim baits year round, or just wait for the shad spawn?
I throw them year round. It can be harder to fish here with swim baits in the wintertime because we have because of where the climate is, they don't really like cold. They'll go down. They won't really respond quite as well. So you normally have to fish a soft swim bait, and you have to go pretty slowly. The glide bait bite kind of tapers off, sort of like in the later fall when we start to get those couple of cold fronts, they start to shut down. So I'll stop throwing glide baits about November. But soft baits like the Huds and Ospreys and things like that, they'll work all throughout the wintertime. They'll work all the way back around.
So
to
yeah,
spring.
15 to 20 pound thing had some shoulders on it. And listen, Farmer has seen more than I have, but he said it was that big. But all I know is basically for 10 seconds, he just bulldogged the daylights out of me. Tyler Bird, notice the size of the bait you see them busting on, same as last year. It's small. Not saying they won't hit a big bait because they will, but for some reason they were liking these smaller bait fish. So I want to let me definitely say something about Tyler Bird. I ain't never getting in the boat with Tyler Bird. We blasted off, but listen, we blasted off. I gotta say this too. We blasted that whatever his motor says it is line, because we blasted off, and the two guys in the Phoenix bass boats were flying up. And here comes Tyler beside us, and ain't nothing on that boat touching water but the prop, and it ain't but maybe a half. And he just smiled as he goes on by, and I'm like, just like no fear in his eyes whatsoever. And I would probably be just puckered up in his boat on. That's the reason sometimes I like to bank fish like that. That would be it right there. I would have been puckered up. That boat went flying by. And I'm like, he's just a crazy SOB. Hey,
man.
I love him. I love me as a great guy, but he come by me and I said, mental note. I ain't never getting in the boat with that guy. I've been with Brett and Brett Matthews and Brett and that other Phoenix that Phil and all them were right. They had took off, but my guy Tyler come by and I just. When they ain't listen, they wasn't nothing touching the water. And I just can't figure out how the good Lord kept that boat from just flying up. But Tyler just kept on, and it is what it feels. So holy crap, that sounds like fun. Danny, you done 100 miles an hour on the water yet? No. I've only done 100 a few times in a car in my life, and I wasn't really comfortable at that time. What's fastest you ever been in a car?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably about 105.
Okay, what about you? Seriously, I mean
115.
Okay, so I had a friend in high school. Look, he said Kyler still had some more trim. Listen, the guy's an idiot. All right, but see, I had a buddy in high school that had a Formula 350 Pontiac, and for some reason, him and a Mustang got to having a pissing contest one day, and he got that joker up. And I'll tell you, when I hit 130, my knees were on. I wasn't driving, but I was screaming for him, slow this down. I'm getting ready. I mean, it was the scariest thing I've ever been into. I would say Tyler Burt was probably doing 122 last night when he come by us.
At least 122.
At least 122.
That's your calibrated eyeballs.
If he was doing 10 miles an hour, he was doing 122. And that old mullet he had was just flying in the background, just the prettiest redneckest thing I've ever seen. That Ranger going by, and I was like, I ain't getting in the boat with him. But Tyler, I love you. It is awesome. Phil, no, I have never gone. I think the fastest I have been in a boat, I would say 70.
Yeah, I've been right around 70.
Right around 70. And that's plenty fast for me.
And then you hit one little bump, and all of a sudden,
that's what. Okay, I know we're getting off topic. I don't mean
shimmy shake.
We go with the comments of that, but that is true. Now, look, Justin made a comment. That I'm just not used to blasting off coming from the electric, and that is true. That is true. Chris Taylor scared the daylights out of me, but that bounce, that's the bouncing. I don't see how some of them boats, when they hit those waves and go to rocking and turn, it is just uncomfortable feeling. And I guess the more you've been on the water, the more you're used to it. But we don't get that in the electric only world. There's no boats.
Yeah,
we're not doing that. So, but guys, if you're getting
no scoot off, you're not chine walking yet.
No, listen. If you get in the boat, I'm telling you, if you get in the boat with Tyler Burt, you might want to have him sign some papers holding responsible. Did it on Hartwell a couple years ago during the winter. It was glass. Wind at your back. Yes, I get that. But last night was kind of rough when we took off. So it was an interesting thing. So anyway, that kind of what I was going back to is that Google Chrome. There you go, baby. Blake is getting good. Got to drive it, son. I understand, Tyler. And listen, you took it to where the fish were. He had second place. He was right just at 16, saying that he on the Fish North Georgia group page, I'm going to skunk. Which I love those guys coming. I'm gonna show up, but I ain't gonna catch nothing. And then they come walking up.
If you ain't got game in April, like,
okay, all right. So listen, that's good because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm terrible year round. If you ain't got game in April, you ain't got game no time. Is that what you're saying?
This is the time to have game.
Normally that March-April period is wide open.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to get any better.
I will say this: Farmer drives a great boat. He drives. I'm not scared to be in the boat with Farmer. Chris Taylor scares the hell out of me, and Tyler and Brett Matthews does not scare me. But Tyler Bird, I ain't getting in the boat with you. There's no way. I got a wife and kids, so I ain't doing it. But anyway, that's fun. And again, it's back to the tournament last night. We had such a great time. I can't wait to do more of these. But again, that's what I'm saying. I was just kind of curious. Back in that pocket with bass getting ready to spawn, or I personally think they're farther along now than what A lot of people think because we're not.
Well-
I'm just not seeing it. But again, you would throw. Now, would you throw those baits? Let's just take those baits that you mentioned. Would you? How would you work them? Would you parallel the bank? Are we throwing them at the docks and working them around the docks? How are we working those? And we're gonna come from a bank perspective.
Okay, you mean bank fishing?
Like if you were bank fishing in a pocket on Lake Lanier that had a lot of docks,
okay,
and you had the freedom to walk the entire
low water.
wherever you wanted to go, would you look for a way to cast down the bank and bring it up, or would you work the docks from the side?
Well, one of the best ways to work a bait is actually uphill, and you kind of have that advantage by being a bank angler because you're standing there, you're dragging your bait uphill. So
correct.
Best thing I would do in that scenario is I would get right up next to the dock and I throw way past it, let it sink down, and I work it back up, and try to get a reaction strike that way. I'll bring it about halfway down the dock and see if I can see a follower. You normally have to have some polarized sunglasses so that you can see what's going on over there, and I would kind of read the body language of the fish if I get a follower. You can tell whether or not they're going to eat it by the way that they react to it. So if he's just kind of like lazily swimming behind it, he doesn't really want it, you can try to trigger him. He might or he might not. But if he comes in like red hot and he's got his mouth wide open, just cuts off at the last second, he was going to eat it. So that's a catchable fish. You can normally come back and get them. And even if they don't react to it and they just kind of slowly, lazily follow it back in, you can normally come back with a bait later on, like a jig or a drop shot or a crankbait or something, because now I know where he's at.
Right.
They're going to come up and chase it, but then they're going to stop and go back to where they were at. So I can do things like that. I can pull them out of, from under a dock or off of a tree or something like that, and you can follow up with something else.
Now, do you use the same? Listen, Farmer, don't say that. Listen, he said, I sucked last night. Now,
It was unfamiliar territory, Farmer. If that was Notley, you know what you would have done.
We'd have won.
You dominated.
Listen, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I could be on them. All I got to do is play net man. We get on Notley, and I feel really good in the boat with Farmer about winning the tournament. I'll just net for you all night, sit back and drink Nofo brew, and you just catch the fish. What do you think about that? Sound like a good plan?
That sounds like a hell of a plan.
It is a great plan. So you didn't suck
I'd
last
drink
night.
Nofo and net Farmer's fish.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
And take half of that winnings. Absolutely. All right. So let me ask you this. Right now, given that same scenario, do you use the same gear setup when you're fishing spawn fish with swim baits as if, let's say, later in the year in the summertime or in the fall?
Same setup.
Same setup year round. And what is
there's a couple of ways that you can rig a swim bait rod.
Okay.
Some people like braid. The problem with braid is that if you don't use an 8 carrier that's more round, you use one of those a little bit cheaper baits or something like that, it'll dig in on itself and you'll be breaking off $500 baits. So I don't mess with braid. And a lot of people like to go with braid to a leader because the leader gives you a little bit of shock absorption. But I find that the best way is to go with the copolymer, because some people like fluorocarbon. It sinks all the time. You can only fish mostly glide baits and multi-joint baits and bottom baits. You can't really throw the top water stuff. Plus, fluorocarbon has a lot more memory to it because it has that coating and stuff on the outside. So I normally go with the copolymer because it's a little bit limper, a little bit softer.
Right.
I actually brought the spool of stuff that I use, so I'll show you that in a minute.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. Wait, is it down here?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
we got all the tools.
We got all the tools.
I brought.
Hey, let's begin at the beginning, man. Get your stick out. Let's just
we got. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You start getting your stuff out. We're about an hour into this, and now's the time for the question of the week. Now, you really think people are gonna be able to answer this question you came up with?
Hey, they can Google it.
Yeah, but I mean,
They always Google it.
They do Google.
That
it.
is true.
They always Google it anyway. It wouldn't matter.
That is true. That is true. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a question right here, and this is one that, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I said, all right, we're gonna bring back the question of the week in 3 minutes before the show, which is what we do every single night. I run down here, get ready, and as where I was coming on the way down, I said, oh my gosh, I forgot the question of the week. We ain't done it in a while.
We have not.
Because we've been singing and doing other stuff.
Ryan Sheffield.
We can't sing no more because of that.
Sheffield killed the question of the week.
He did. Well, he killed everything.
After Rattlenbog, we all looked at each other.
There once was a bird and a crazy bird, and I'm like, how do you top that?
We literally, after Rattlenbog, we looked around and we said, well, that's it.
That's it. It's like
we peaked right there.
You shoot a 20-point buck the first time you go hunting, you ain't never gonna do it again the rest of your life. You're like, it's gonna suck from there on out.
It's like one of those kids you see on Facebook. They go fishing with daddy and they catch the 10-pounder on the Snoopy rod. Right. And it's done.
It's over.
You just wrap. It's a wrap. Like,
Okay, so what we did, so we're going to stop the singing for a little while. We'll give it a little bit of a break. We may do that since we're only doing it only 4 live episodes now, and we may bring it back. But we're going to do the question of the week on these episodes again. And so tonight, what I'm giving away is we finally got the first part of our Berkeley shipment in. We're carrying a lot of pure products, Berkeley, Abu Garcia. A lot of that stuff is coming into the store. The Fritz size, we're gonna have all that stuff. The Chapos for all you Whopper Plopper guys. Let me tell you something. I'm still throwing that goofy Whopper Plopper that Murphy got me, Andrew Murphy. I don't like it.
You ain't got bit yet?
Have I got bit yet?
Yeah.
They ain't nothing gonna bite that ugly thing, dude. Listen, it's like a weeble. You remember?
Whoppers
You're
get
young. You're young, but you remember a weeble? We had weebles when we were growing up,
Weeble wobble.
but they don't fall down, right? So it looks like a little miniature Chapo Central, yeah. But that listen, it's like. All right, so let's.
Hey,
I hope no.
You
women are
remember
watching.
what you said when you're getting custom made, exclusive Fish North Georgia colored Berkeley Chapos. Just remember what you said.
Okay, I remember what I said then, but I'm gonna tell you right now that Whopper Plopper I got is like a 3'11" woman that's 36, 24. I mean, it's and it just is awful looking coming across the water. I don't know how.
Well, how
That's
you
the
fishing
idea.
I tried 2 ways. I tried the reeling, I tried fast and I tried to do that ripping thing that Farmer does on Lanier.
Kind of like a prop bait.
Yeah, just rip that son of a gun and go, and then let it sit. Let
It
it
works.
sit. What's that sound? You like that sound? But all I'm gonna tell you, I can't do no water sounds. That's as good as I get.
Sheffield probably killed sound effects for us too. Like,
He did. He was
anybody
really
else
good.
ever
Yeah.
gonna do sound
So-
effects
He
like
did.
Sheffield?
So, I mean, Danny, when I got to learn how to finesse fish, you can learn how to use a Whopper Plopper. Fair enough. All I know is, listen, I'm watching this thing coming across the water, and I'm like, this sucks. It just is off. I got zero confidence in it.
You're gonna feel that way until you have one that's
A few more weeks, that will get your arm
4 or
broke.
5 pounds and absolutely just tears your arm off.
Right. Well, I hope it happens.
You'll convert quick.
I hope it happens, and if it does, we'll go with it. But here's the kicker. Back to the Berkeley stuff. So we got all this stuff, but I'm getting all the Max Scent baits in, and I finally got my first shipment of Max Scent hit Magnum worms. I got 4 colors upstairs. You can if you win this question of the week, if you're the first one that does this, I'll give you 1 pack of one of the colors up there, and you can message me. I have a watermelon candy. I've got I think it's black smoke gold purple. It's a different one. I've got straight black, and I've got pumpkin seed. Now the pumpkin seed I like because it looks as much like a big old earthworm as anything I've seen in a long time.
Mhm.
But again, these Max Scent worms, 45% more catches is what they say. You fellas that fell for the April Fool's joke, where they said that the FLW and all that stuff was banning them. I actually had a cousin that actually believed that. I saw him a couple days later at Easter. He's like, "Man, I can't believe they banned that." And I'm like, "Dude, that wasn't real." So, but again, we finally getting some of them in the stock with the hit Magnum worm. So, first person to answer this question, you got it pulled up, the right answer?
Yeah, I got it out.
You got it? Okay, so we're going to look in the comments. And Jeremiah picked out this question. So, if it stinks, it's all on him. This was not me. I was going to ask a David Lee Roth question, but we might as well do
That's the
fishing.
same as Blake wanting to ask his Kurt Angle question.
Right.
It is.
You just need
He
to get it
actually
out of your
told me
system.
earlier. He was like, "That's a better question than what I had." Oh, I'm glad you came up with that.
Well, still, I mean, listen right here. This is not a question I would ask, but we're going to go. So here we go. All right. First person in the comments that gets it right. Okay. In the comments that gets it right will get their choice a pack of Max Scent hit worm magnums on us. Okay. So here you go, guys. You ready?
Like, give me my phone so I can Google this.
No, listen, you can't win. It's just like that publisher clearinghouse and stuff like that. If you're part of the advertising agency, you're not eligible. You really thought you could win one of these worms there, Paul? You know, I'd probably just give you some,
It's worth trying.
It's worth trying. If you looked at me with those
You can't win if you don't enter, baby.
That's right. So here we go. Who set the new man? This is gonna be tough. You Google guys, get ready. You better hope you beat Nathan.
Yeah,
I got Nathan. Nathan. My money is on Nathan Dong.
They have to do that win every week anyway.
Nathan used to.
Right, he won all the time anyway.
Nathan was an absolute master at the question of the week.
Do we want to get a side pot going?
He already queued up.
Who's the first winner? All right, no, listen, I can't. Y'all breaking me. Y'all gonna. The store's going to.
All right, ask the question.
Here we go. Who set the new IGFA female small fry world record for a dolphin fish, and what lure did she use? Again, who set the new IGFA female small fry world record for a dolphin fish, and what lure did she use? All right, so Paul's puppy dog guys. Philip, I love you. You know that. And absolutely, that's what I was getting ready to say. If Paul just looks at me the right way, all right, man, just take it. So,
Right.
all right. So anyway, Jeremiah's
That
got the
ain't
answer
true.
to that. And what do we? Oh, okay, just pick up. Hey, listen, you're doing a fantastic job. What are you doing?
You're doing great, babe.
What is our producer doing right here? Look, Tyler Bird, look at that question. Hey, listen, Tyler, I did not pick that out. All I'm doing is he came up with a question. I looked at it, I was like, these guys are not going to be able to answer that because I was just going to ask about David Lee Roth. Oh, I'm out on that. I understand. So again, who set the new IGFA female small fry, which I would assume is a young girl, world record for a dolphin fish, and what lure did she use? We might not get an answer to this question of the week.
Ooh, that's good.
Are you really? You gonna leave me hanging?
Which one is this?
This is
What are we drinking now? Nofo what?
This is Born to Wonder. It's a New England.
Born to Wonder. It's a
This
New
is
England
Born to
IPA.
Wander. It's a New England IPA, courtesy of our new friends at
Nofo
Nofo
Brewery.
Brew Co.
8%. All right. So that was a mouthful of question. Michelle Fleming. Is that the answer?
Nope.
Nope.
Space got the name.
Okay.
that ain't bad at
So
all.
the name of the bait is correct. We need both of them. We need both of them in the same thing. You can't just have one and get
Space,
another one.
be quick, Space.
Space got the name of
I got-
the girl.
I've got to have the name and
Get the end of that.
get the end of what? Oh, is there some left?
There be
Yeah, bring it on.
good slugs left in
He
it.
said Speech got it. So what is it? He said Pacula and Phantom.
Girl's name is Elise Flynn.
Okay.
Justin got the name.
Okay.
Justin got the name.
Oh, there it is. There it is, right after. He says he's got it in 2 posts.
Oh, he's got it in 2 posts?
There you
I
go,
want-
Space.
I want it in one post.
Yeah, he got it.
Oh, don't be that guy.
I want it in one post.
Don't be that
In one
guy.
post.
Space.
You got to do it like that.
Space, I want you in one post. Get it right now. You don't get the worms. Alan McCready, how you doing, buddy? Is that right? Elise Flynn, Peanuts Fathom.
What y'all don't know is at about 10:15 when we get off the air, I'm going to get a text from Justin, and it's going to say, "Hey, can you bring those worms to Chattooga on Saturday?"
Space got it.
Okay, so we're going to give it to Justin Speece.
Space got it.
I think Alan McCready did come close, but Speece was up there earlier a little bit. So definitely, Speece, you are the winner tonight. Fly on a jig.
Fly with it.
Listen, guys, again,
Phantom.
I don't know what in the hell that question was about. Do we know Clayton? I can't even pronounce that right there. No, Yukiko.
Yukiko.
Yukiko Clayton. Do you know Yukiko Clayton?
No.
Okay, well, Yukiko Clayton, that is a name that I have not recognized, and I am glad that you're here tonight. So definitely thank you very much. Here's another programming note before we get back into swim baits for next week. I believe on the live show, we are going to go back into just YouTube only, and we're gonna take the Facebook down because we don't want to keep inundating our Facebook with the lives like that. So if you're on Facebook right now, Yukiko Clayton, definitely after this is over, look at Justin. Green pumpkin. I don't, he's get the watermelon candy right there. That's what it is.
That
That's
man
the
came
green
with
pumpkin.
demands.
What now?
He came with demands.
He came with Justin wins, and he said, "This is what you got to do." So again, Yukiko Clayton, go to YouTube, Fish North Georgia, and subscribe, and click on the bell for future notifications, so that you will not miss anything in the future. But thank you very much for coming here tonight and on Facebook. Again, I do find this, and this is just interesting, in watching the people that join the show. The people that come on YouTube, the people should have picked something your mom knew. Do you know that? Is that you right there?
Yeah, I think that's my mom.
Your mom? Well, hello. How are you? I do believe that the people that take the time to come on YouTube are the ones that, for the most part, not always, but when you make a commitment to actually go to YouTube and wait and subscribe and all that, you definitely are the people that are the backbone I love our Facebook guys, but I think the YouTube people, that's our core group, don't you think? I mean, you watch it. Facebook's great.
Facebook's
I'm
great.
not knocking Facebook.
YouTube carries the mail.
YouTube does carry the mail.
Pork Taco wears the crown. He's the number one YouTube viewer.
Pork Taco's the king. He
Yeah.
is our viewer with his own stickers.
That's true.
And you know what, Pork Taco, more people have come into the store and said, Pork Taco's got his own sticker, and I'm out of them. So if you get some more, listen, I'm not lying to you. Here's the thing.
I want one.
Grown men.
No way.
Grown men have a fetish or something for stickers. I ain't never in my life seen, hey, you got a sticker? Or they'll come in and hey, more sticker, more horsepower.
Hey,
and
that's the truth.
Yeah, speaking of stickers.
Oh, you got stickers. Oh, yeah, look at that. See, that's it. See, look,
There it is.
Look at that. Look at his tackle box.
Turn that a little bit.
Yeah, so you can see how it is. They
There
go
we
straight
go.
up right there. Good. Working class
Sticker
0.
bomb.
And we even got our State Farm in there just over the top of it, which is perfect.
Right.
And a NoFo
I was like,
right on the side.
Here's a question for the group.
Can't even see me behind
Have you really placed a tackle warehouse order if you don't get the sticker?
Probably not.
Or does it count?
Probably
Like,
not.
I think it's not even a real order if you don't get the sticker from Tackle Warehouse.
Need to put the stickers on the yak and tackle box like that. So, Harry Sachs. All right.
Hi, Harold.
You guys are killing me. I mean, seriously. I'm trying to do a serious show here. And I want to have some integrity in my show. And I look up and I see that screen name right there. And it just is. What do I do, Paul? What do I do?
I mean,
We're trying to have a serious conversation.
you can take the high road.
But I can't not. That's a wreck, and I gotta repeat it. That is going down. Look at that. That is going down 400. There's a wreck in the northbound lane, and I'm headed to Atlanta. I really have no reason to stop and look, but I'll go, whoa, look at there. That's what that screen name is right there. So
Appreciate
By
you,
the
Farmer.
way, side note, people are asking what a dolphin fish is. A dolphin fish is called a different name depending on where you are geographically.
but not a dolphin.
It's not a dolphin. A dolphin fish has a different name depending on where you are. On the West Coast, they call them Dorado. On the East Coast, we call them dolphin. And in Hawaii, they call them mahi mahi. It just
Okay, is
sounds
that what
better
it
to
is?
call it mahi mahi on the dinner menu than dolphin fish.
Makes sense. Yes, I would say that. So that's a
I'm
there's some
lazy now.
information.
They're all just mahi to me.
Mahi?
I'm not doubling up anymore.
mahi. There you go. Look at the thumbs up from Harry there. Put it on. I graduated with a guy whose name was Harry Bottoms. The man's name, I'm not lying. I can bring you my yearbook, and his name was Harry Bottoms.
Why would his parents do that to him?
Exactly. That's like that Johnny Cash song, Boy Named Sue stuff. Harry Bottoms. And I also graduated with a girl whose name was Anita Moon. That's all I'm gonna say. Anita Moon. MOON.
That
There
didn't
we
go
go.
well for her either, did it?
I ain't heard from her in a while. Should you get
Okay.
what? Some websites. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get back to the swim bait game.
Yeah.
This could go down that rabbit hole. We don't need to go that because your mom's watching.
Okay.
What's up?
Right off the bat.
I would say that
Yeah, can what is this thing?
which
again?
one is this again?
That was you got the can.
Oh, I've
We
got
do
the
have
can.
But it's like 3 of them open.
The
We have
Born
to-
to Wander
You're talking
New
about-
England
No,
IPA
listen,
from
listen.
Nofo Brew Co. is excellent.
The
Really enjoying it.
The Irish sunscreen was lunch.
No.
And it was. Listen, me and Mr. Irish, we agree very well. So I can say that. And I know Josh, he liked it as well. But yeah, so I haven't had any Born to Wander. Let's take a taste test.
Get you slug. It's like a reaction video.
Kind of.
Some good stuff.
I like it.
I like
I know it's tasty.
It's very tasty.
Hey, y'all got a good beer sponsor. Josh did good with this.
Josh-
Round of applause for
Round of applause for
He did
Josh.
good for this.
And round of applause for Nofo. And they're local. That's what's awesome about it.
Done failed the spelling
Queen, listen,
test.
Tyler Burt, Queen. Nah, Tyler Burt, listen. Just because you a daggum Miller Lite fella, don't know. You come on up here and we'll get you some of these and let you. We just ain't gonna let you do it while you're driving that boat because you're scary. All right, let's get back to this. I'll let you take wherever you want to go next. I asked you about Lake Lanier. What do you want to tell everybody about technique? We're gonna let you run the show.
Let's-
for the
yeah,
next-
no, I say let's start with the rod
The right?
Yeah, let's start with the rod.
because I think
Swim
that's
baits.
well. I mean that's where you start, right?
That's right.
Like I can't.
guess.
Most people
Come
don't
on,
have
farmer.
a rod that's going to throw a big bait.
Right.
You ain't
Like-
throwing them on 063.
No.
Okay,
Is,
so
is that Bud Heavies, Bert?
Yeah, that's stud wise.
So
yes, they are Michael Temples.
I got a
Yes,
pretty
sir, Tim
good
White.
all around swim bait rod. So I've got a 8-foot 711 actually extra heavy. I was rated for 2 to 10 ounces. That will throw most of the things.
Let me
you
see
can get.
that thing. Let me.
I know this thing. It was 8 foot long almost.
Well, listen,
There we
listen.
go.
It's okay. We're going. But what we're
All
going to
right,
do is we're
well,
going to be
Just
very
don't take out
careful.
the camera.
Right. The
Gosh,
camera be
that
out.
thing's heavy. So don't worry about
Yes,
your head.
it's a
Don't
heavy
worry about
setup.
your head. So here we go. Now,
Okay.
All right,
Blake.
man.
Blake can't zoom, but we got this.
That's
Oh, look at him
oh,
right
hey.
there. There you go,
We're
Blake.
starting to get somewhere.
All right.
All right.
It is amazing what Blake can pick up so quick. I'm proud of him tonight.
So that is a.
And Paul's going to zoom in. Now, so what are we talking about here with the reel?
The reel is a 400 size. I would actually not recommend a 400 size for a bass fisherman. I would recommend a 300. Reason being is because it's bigger and it's a lot heavier and it takes a lot more out of your wrist and stuff to be throwing it all day.
Am I good right there?
Yeah,
Paul?
I think that's good.
Hold it and I'll pan.
Listen, the producer is getting on to me right now, so I'm not going to move it.
Okay.
There we go. Now I can turn it from here, though. There we go.
A lot of people like the Tranks pretty well. The Tranks 300 and the Tranks 400. That's pretty good. If you get the 300 or the 400 Tranks, and a lot of these other these larger size, low profile bait casters,
Right.
if you're throwing one of those, if you get the regular versions that come in like a 5 or 6 speed,
Right.
they normally come with double paddle handles. And if you get the HG version, which is the high gear version that goes faster, they normally come with a power handle. That's what the big
This is
single knob
The
is.
power handle right
Yeah.
here.
Gives you a little bit more leverage.
So this you might have said it and I wasn't listening. So Kuma Guide Select
Guide select swim bait stick. That's a good middle of the road swim bait rod.
711.
711, 2 to 10 ounces, extra heavy.
2 to 10 ounces is what, yeah, and that's what I
Mhm.
was noticing because a lot of the rods I see that guys say you can still throw a swim bait on
Mhm.
are really up to 10. I mean, up to 2, maybe 3 ounces. This joker goes. I mean, it says right here 10 ounces.
Yeah, those rods that they're talking about are the ones that are like they're flipping sticks and they're frog rods and stuff like that, which are stiff enough to throw some smaller baits that are only like 2 or 3 ounces. You can get away with doing that, especially the cheaper baits. But if you're going to throw any real swim baits and you're going to go up in size instead of 10 inches, 6, 8, 10 ounces, you really want a bigger rod for that. And they make swim baits that are like 16, 17 inches long and weigh over a pound. So you need a real
Right.
swim bait rod.
Well, okay. So one thing I noticed that I'm looking at this line. Now, did you tell everybody what kind of line it is?
That is a 25-pound copolymer. I got the spool right here.
What I'm finding interesting is it's different colors.
Yeah.
So
Is that metered? Is that
That's what-
like trolling line?
No, it's not metered.
Really?
so it's
not
just
metered.
for the hell of it.
It's designed to be kind of camouflaged in the water. They don't like meter it every so many yards. I don't think.
So that's what I was getting at asking because a lot of crappy guys use stuff like this,
Yeah.
with different colors and it is metered, so they know, how
Make
far
a
they
line
got it
just
out.
like
Like that.
that, yeah.
So, but you're just using this because it's just good line.
I actually got recommended that by Mike Buka. I was using
Okay.
I've heard of him.
P-Line CX6
Mike
at
Buka.
first.
He makes something, don't he?
Yeah, no, I think there's a certain community that he might be a big deal in.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know anything? What's
I
Mike
don't know.
Buka? What's Mike Buka do?
He makes the bullshit swim baits.
And Mike Buka just recently opened up what?
He just opened up his own. He opened up a swim bait store over in Ackworth, over by Cabela's down the street from there.
Okay, so can you do this for me?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at 1 minute 19 seconds into this show.
Mhm.
So can you crop off 1 minute 19 seconds and send this to Buka and tell him I'd like a free swim bait for the advertisement? I'm serious. I want a Buka shad.
You want a bullshit?
I want a bull shad for. I mean, I just gave the man advertising on my show in his store for free. Tell Buka I want a bull shad.
Right? Can we get Danny like a baby bullshit or something like that?
I don't want to. But I want.
He wants to
You
real.
need the rod first.
He wants to real.
Oh,
big
listen,
deal,
no.
baby.
I want the real deal bullshit. Just one.
A real bullshit. Okay,
Just one.
they can probably get you one.
He'll-
We
he'll
can
I
probably
call-
think
get
he's
he'll
got
call
one.
Croxton and get the rod.
Listen, I can.
Right,
Don't
but-
worry about the rod. I mean, and I can go by the line, but I think I want a bullshit from Buka.
one. Okay.
Because if not, he's banned from the show.
We'll
All
try
right,
to
there we
get
go. Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm getting in trouble from the producer. All right, here we go. Keep going. All right, so what? So, okay,
right.
so here's the setup. So we're done with the setup now. You can set the rod back over there.
Yeah.
Without breaking
I've got on my for the reel, I've actually got a pin. I got a pin Squall 400. Reason why I went with that is because this rod actually doubles as a saltwater rod and it doubles as a striper rod.
Yeah.
And you can also take it up north and use it for like muskie and stuff like that. So that's why I went
Gotcha.
with a 400 size reel. If you're gonna bass fish exclusively, go with a 300. You don't need a huge reel. Go at 300 instead of 400 if you can. If you're just a bass fisherman, If you're gonna double task it and multitask it, go with a little bit bigger reel. You get more line capacity, and it normally come with a little bit more power.
So you had the spool. I missed the line.
This
can we see that?
Trickfish copolymer. That is Trickfish.
Give me two, baby.
Camouflage copolymer.
Camera 2, baby.
It's
that text.
it actually comes in all the popular colors of the line at the same time. A lot of people use green or use clear. Some guys like red. That's actually all three at the same time. And every I want to say every other foot that comes off the line, you get a different color.
Okay.
It's not exactly metered.
Yeah.
It's not really designed for that, I guess.
I'm not going to pretend to know my line diameters right off the top of my head, but this seems pretty thin for 25. Is it?
Not
like
really.
As they go.
Easy casting?
Not really. Yeah, very easy
Okay.
casting. Very easy casting. Not a whole bunch of.
So,
stuff like
well, I
that.
think what he's saying, like, if there's some rods or lines, just say we get 25-pound trilene big game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're throwing rope. That's a lot.
Yeah, Trilene Big Game is pretty thick and it has a lot of coils and stuff in it. It has a lot of memory in it, so I don't really like to use it. I also don't find it to be as abrasion resistant as a lot of this other stuff that I use. I tried P-Line CXX at first. That's like casting wire, basically.
I understand.
Then I went to Isoline Triple X, which I like pretty well, in the 30-pound. So that's pretty good. But then I tried this out just off recommendation, and I stuck with this.
Right, absolutely.
That rod is a pretty good middle of the road swim bait rod. It's got a softer tip a little bit. It's probably a little bit off for really huge baits like musky baits or something like that.
Right.
Because things are a little bit different. The tapers and things are a little bit different and stuff like that. And the way that musky baits work compared to a lot of bass baits are a little bit different.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of like single piece glide baits and things like that where we get double jointed glide baits and things like that for bass. But it will work. It'll multitask pretty well.
Easy to skip with?
Yeah, surprisingly easy to skip with because it has a little bit softer tip.
Okay.
You got the length too.
You
Like
got
the
length
big
of it.
trick.
Yeah, you got a lot
The
of
big trick skipping with the bait caster is that like rising follow through, trying to keep the line off the water.
Right.
So that longer rod kind of helps with that as you come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. All right. Good.
So that's the setup. Also, whenever I'm putting on a swim bait, I use these. If you can show these up to the camera, these are. I don't use these on soft baits all the time, but I do normally use them on hard baits. Those are decoy egg snaps. Those come from Japan. You can get them on Tackle Warehouse. I use a size 4 and a size 5.
Well, they do come from Japan. All the writing in the back's in Japanese. I looked at it like, it's decoy egg snaps. Okay.
Get a little bit more range of movement on there. And if you look at the design of it, it's not gonna pop open on you because the regular snaps that people use, they break. They're kind of brittle. They just pop right open.
Okay, this is a little bit different. It's kind of like not an oval or egg shape, but it is. But one side is a lot bigger than the other. And does that help with the design at all? Do you find that just gives more movement to the bait?
A little bit more range of movement. Plus, it helps you to be able to just pop baits off and on pretty quickly.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say. I noticed you had a snap on your line right there that you got.
I did.
On your
It's
rod
all
that you got
twisted
hooked
up,
up. Still okay. So number 4, and this is a number 5. Now, is there a reason? I mean, what do you determine? Which one are you using the 4s on and the 5s? What makes a difference?
The size of the bait.
Okay, so
What's your threshold then?
Yeah, so you got number 4. It is a smaller one.
Well,
At what point do you change?
I'll use the smaller one on smaller glide baits, like my little 6 and 7 inch baits. But if I go to a big glide bait, like a 10 inch or something like that, then I'll switch up to the size 5.
Okay,
I go with something like that.
Have you ever caught any muskie?
Nope, haven't been far enough north to catch one.
So you're just familiar that the rod is more in the muskie.
Yeah, things are a little bit different with basically every type of fish out there.
Okay, I was just wondering because Alex Green asked that how many muskie have you caught to be speaking from, and I guess so he's saying now he hasn't done that, but familiarity with the fish itself lends to you making that comment on the rods and stuff like that. So again, now dude there too, and listen, and that's the thing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Green has been on before, and I think we're in Tennessee. That he's talking about. If I'm not mistaken, Alex hit me up because I believe he has said something about you either on the Fish North Georgia group page or even on this show about fishing for muskie. I believe you've made some posts before. I think that would be a killer
for about the half dozenth time. Alex, come be on the show. Danny, Make that happen.
Hey, is that the guy you talk about all the time?
Yes,
Hey,
absolutely.
Alex, listen. I'm so sorry. You have an open invitation next Thursday night. How about that?
Farmer, I would be more interested in that information than I would in what's going on Chattanooga.
They are in Lake Hiawassee in North Carolina. We're talking muskie. All right.
I haven't been further past Chickamauga, but I'm only.
So you haven't been
Chickamauga to
kinda
Bass Fish. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
haven't been that far up there.
So hey, Philip and Alex and Jessica, next Thursday night.
So it's a date. We're making a date.
Open invitation.
I'm gonna sit here and drink.
Fish North Georgia. Alex Green will be there. All right. So next Thursday night we're going to have Alex. Philip, can you make it? And
Alex
we'll
and
go from there.
Jess. Like
Either one, yeah. Just y'all sound like a good group.
or hell, get all three of them.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
won't have to talk at all, man.
And that would be great. That would be no foe. That would be great. So anyway, all right. So let's go to the next one.
This was one that I didn't get to show off the last time. This is a pretty cool bait. That's a JDM one that's pretty hard to get. That's a DRT Clash 9.
Good Lord. Oh, that's
watch
sharp.
those hooks. I
That
replaced
is
those hooks.
absolutely.
You're so worried to drop that.
Yeah,
I don't want to drop it. That I'm willing to lose a
Blake's
finger.
about to get
Yeah.
revenge snatching that hook out.
right.
A finger. So all right. So I think we got confirmation that Alex and Philip will be here next Thursday night. So there we go. The first of the Thursday night only episodes.
Awesome.
That's great. We're gonna kick it off. That's awesome. All right. So anyway, what about this bait?
That bait's actually a pretty sweet one. A lot of people want it. It's really hard to get right now. The company is called DRT. That's Division Rebel Tackles.
Okay.
Out of Japan. I actually changed the hooks on those. Those are also Japanese hooks. Those are made by the same company that makes the snaps. Those are decoy quad hooks. They actually come with 4 prongs instead of the traditional 3. Has a little bit of a coating on the outside too, and I feel like it's a little bit easier to stick fish on those.
Let me
What's
ask you this. Let me ask you this. This looks like you could put a lip on this thing.
Right here.
Okay, so you okay?
So,
you
there's a lot of modularity. I was looking at the tail.
They come
The tail,
with
yes.
replaceable lips and tails,
Okay.
and
All
depending
kind of
on
toys.
whatever combination of lips.
Now,
and
can you
tails
fish
put
it
in
without? And it'll still.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay, so it doesn't have to
It doesn't
have it.
need the lip.
It doesn't need a lip, but it does
That's
need a tail.
niche.
It's sharp.
And depending on the combination of lips and tails that you
Hey,
put
hold
in
that
it, you get a
joker.
completely different action out of it.
Let me see this thing. Okay, so all right.
Oh, those are
That's a
look
good
at that!
tail.
Look at this tail
Those are sticky for real.
right here. So you see this tail? Don't the light hits
You
you?
got the
There
tails
we go.
and lips.
That's a pretty decent looking tail. How much are those baits running for, and also the rod and reel setup?
Retail at first, those baits were like $70. I think they went up to 100. I'm not sure on that, but a lot
You
of
see the
people are like
tails?
buying them for retail and then selling them for like
Is it the long
$200-300
tail of the
a
riser?
pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So
Interesting.
it could run you anywhere from, I want to say $100 to like $300.
Let me ask
Now,
you this.
do you fiddle? Do you fiddle with like tail colors and whatnot? Do you put like a red tail on this or a black tail instead of like whatever the?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But some people are even like taking the tails and lips and selling them for like double or triple retail.
Have you?
DRT has them right now. They have them right now. But when they sell out, you're going to see those tails and lips going for like $70.
So
That's
what
crazy.
you're telling me is there's a market for aftermarket tails.
Yes.
What are we doing, Paul? Why are we not
know.
producing these things?
I thought
Who's
you was. I thought you was
So
trying.
I
to get into
sell
the
'em if
electric
you-
motor market.
I'm doing that too.
Hmm.
We're gonna conquer it all. What's your favorite hard bait you own?
My favorite hard bait would probably be a glide bait, like a Storm Arashi glide or maybe
Really?
a
Tacos.
I like the Storm Arashi glide and I like the S-Wave. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I like those. They're a little bit more
So-
jerky. They're not as much of a wide, smooth action.
So my question then would be like you have the like 3 or 4 boxes here.
Yeah.
Like full of just high dollar, like high end stuff. The Arashi and the S Waver though.
They're pretty cheap.
Still like among all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
So why is that? I mean, why do you spend? Is it just you just got something for the expensive ones? If you're just as effective with something that's not.
Well, they all kind of have their own place where they shine and places where they don't do quite as good. Like, for example, the S-Waver and the Arashi glides are really good cover baits. You can throw them around tight stuff because they don't have a super wide glide. You can kind of switch them and get them to jerk around like a jerk bait. and they'll hit those a little bit closer to cover. And other ones that have a big wide glide, they work better out over open water, and they're better at drawing fish up.
Okay. All right.
But what's cool about this Clash 9 is that it's actually fully adjustable and customizable, where you can get it to do whatever you want it to do for whatever situation. So that's another one of the reasons why a lot of people want to get their hands on this thing, because you can get it to do basically anything.
Okay. Any GAN graphs?
GAN crafts. I had a GAN craft.
He said graphs. I read it.
I had a GAN craft jointed claw, Magnum 230. Caught a fish on it and then threw it and broke it up for the next cast. So that sucked. That was 100 and something, about $120, $130 gone. First guy.
It happens. It happens. I go through that in worms. So, you know, do you have a paperweight?
Paperweight. No.
What is a paperweight?
A paperweight's another type of swim bait.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's a cool swim bait.
we'll talk about
Who is
bit.
that
Yeah.
makes that one? Is that a?
I don't know. I don't know what the company is.
Yeah, Alex, who makes that?
That would be interesting. So describe a
Paperweights.
paperweight for everybody.
They
don't
got
know,
a couple different kinds.
Some of these
Yeah.
guys know what they're talking
It's
about.
kind of
and some
a,
of
it's
them
kind
don't.
of a giz-ish profile, like a light
Sorta.
giz profile, or like a big shad profile.
It's a skinny.
Yeah, I would say it's not.
Yeah.
It's not as skinny as a herring, but it's like the body isn't as skinny as a herring, but it's not as deep as a giz, right?
Right.
It's
It
got a
is
slow
kinda
guide, like,
Yeah.
it'll really kick out, and then you can really swim it, and it'll have a tight hole to it.
Right.
Okay. All right.
People like those toxic baits pretty good too.
Okay.
I know there's a couple different versions of that too.
All right.
The toxic, the one that I like that I'm thinking about getting is kind of a bluegill profile, but instead of having fins on the sides, it actually has like some jig skirt material going through both sides.
There's,
Oh, okay.
There's a question. When do you favor the shad profile versus the gill?
Normally go with a shad profile on a bigger reservoir or something like that. Where there's places where there's a lot more shad, or if I go to a lake that I know that has
Or
a
you're just
good
kind of
shad
basing it
preference in
just on forage base.
Kinda, yeah. I'll use gill baits in a lot of like ponds or smaller lakes or something like that.
All right.
Most
So
of the time.
a couple good
Mike-
comments.
Michael Temples.
Yeah, I love that. That's
There
what-
is a question that Blake needs to hear the answer
Yeah.
to.
How long do you fish with one without getting bit before you change and start throwing something else? I can't seem to constantly throw that huge bait.
The answer to that question is you kind of have to. The thing with swim bait fishing is that you're eliminating all the smaller fish. You're trying to eliminate as many of the smaller fish as you can. You're not looking for 2 and 3 pounders. You're looking for 5 and up. And the bigger you go up in the size, the less bites you're going to get. You just have
Okay.
to know that right off the rip.
Okay, all right, I got that. So,
So-
Alex Green, I'll bring the prototypes next Thursday. That's awesome. Caught
Dope.
like 20 striper on a paperweight last night. DP,
He
My-
won't take it.
how about this? My sweet baits, hearing and call it, call it a day. So sweet baits. What do you think about
The sweet
those?
baits herring is
Sweet
pretty
bait
popular.
herring. I said hearing. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you know.
I get it.
Maybe it rattles.
Listen, I'm just reading it out right off the thing. So that's okay. So sweet bait herring and call it a day.
The sweet bait herring is pretty popular on Lanier. It's kind of like the same category as the Seville or the bull herring.
So,
Kind of the same thing.
so could you take a sweet bait? And I would assume if it's a herring lake, you could go up to Carter's, Blue Ridge, those
Mhm.
things. But what about lake like on Allatoona?
That'll work. Spotted bass is still spotted bass.
They're just going to hit it because just out of instinctive, it's that bait,
Yeah.
it's that range.
They
It's a bait
don't.
fish
They
in
don't know
21.
where they live.
Exactly. So I mean, but so
I've thrown a
okay.
jigging spoon like a jerk bait and caught them. They'll still eat it.
They'll still eat it. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's not to say that they can't be picky, because they can be remarkably picky. I
Lord
think-
knows we know
I think-
we knew
yeah, I
last
think-
night it was
But more,
terrible.
I think everybody knows that they can be remarkably picky, but they don't know where they live.
Right.
Like he doesn't know that he's
That's
in Lake
good.
Lanier.
That's good. That's a good answer there,
Like-
Paul. I like that answer. That's remarkable. You know, a remarkably simple answer, but
Mm.
profound enough that a lot of us are like, we are sometimes. So what you're saying is we can overthink it. Is that where you're going?
Yeah,
with that?
yeah.
You can just definitely.
That was
overthink it.
some of the best advice I ever got in fishing. We were out on Lanier, and the guy we were with, I'll name drop Mac Farr. We're out with Mac, and he said, you know, a spotted bass in this lake could live his whole life in 30 feet of water, and never see a night crawler. But when you put like a night crawler in front of him, he still eats it.
Yeah.
He looks at it and he says, hey, his brain goes, that's weak, that's easy to eat, and he eats it.
That's good.
He
point.
doesn't reason like you can.
That's a good point.
You know, he
very
can't-
good.
He doesn't have the analytical part of his brain doesn't exist. He just, can I eat that? Should I run away from it?
Good. Yeah.
Very much.
They can be very, as complex as
I
they
like
can
that.
be, they
They're
can
just
also be
swimming.
very binary.
I like that, but that's a good answer. So basically, it comes back to we humans, with our analytical brains, sometimes often
It's-
overthink things.
We would to
To put it
coin
simply.
someone else's phrase, we would call it like the Disneyfication of animals, right?
Yeah.
We deer hunt. We like to think that a deer is like Bambi and that he's out there, thinking and reasoning and acting like a person, or a turkey or a fox or a fish or whatever. That ain't how they are.
I love it, Paul. I love it. No, seriously, good stuff. That's exactly right. So,
Go over some of his favorite baits in these dogs and
All right.
price ranges and stuff like that. To actually cover some of this.
is that what you'd like to do? So, okay. So, producer Blake would
Mhm.
like us to go over some of the baits again in your box and the
Okay.
prices. Calorie calculators is all they are. Can I survive on what I'm eating? Will that feed me?
Is Alex? That's probably some of the second greatest advice I've ever seen on fishing. Is what I take in worth what I expend to catch it?
I like that too. Fish are stupid. We just think they're smart.
Right.
Listen, no farmer. We was in the wrong pocket the other night. We must have been in a pocket with some brain surgeon fish. I mean, good grief! I couldn't get bit on dynamite the other night. So, all right.
You want to tag in for
no,
this?
you're doing good. Unless
No,
you
I
just
can
go. You gotta go to the restroom. Go.
Take a little trip.
Philip, let's say, Philip, I can. I taught myself that this year to stick with certain baits until I start catching fish before I move to the next one. So perseverance.
That's what I've always
Committing to a bait.
Yep.
So how long do you go though? I mean, seriously, like let's just say you want to go and you got a mag draft on and you were, making either one of your videos where you're skipping, just whatever it is you do, and you're like, I'm not getting hit. How long are you going to commit to it before you say, all right, let's try something else? Realistically, or do you have 2 or 3 tied on? You'll go 5 casts no, next and 5 casts no, 5 casts no. I mean, what do you really do?
Swim bait fishing is completely different from most other types of fishing. See, if you think about it, most guys that are fishing up shallow, they're going down the bank, they got their foot in the trolling motor, they're just flipping a jig. They're just going down there, there's a tree, flip that a couple of times, pull it out, or they'll go, hey, there's a dock, skip up on there a couple of times and pull it back out. Swim bait fishing is different. The first cast is always the most important. That's the first thing.
Okay.
The first cast
And why is
always
that?
the most important.
Why is that?
Because you want to give them, it's sort of like the same concept as fly fishing. You want to give them as few chances to spook or to figure out that this thing isn't real as possible. A lot of the fly fishermen and stuff, they'll try to make as few false casts as they can to prevent that bait from going over their heads 5, 6, 7, 8 times. When you're taking a swim bait, you want to line up everything perfect. You want to throw that swim bait down there and bring it back out and try to get their attention and pull them away from things, because there's no give when you're swim bait fishing. I normally have the drag locked all the way down and you give them nothing. You stick them as hard as you can, and you just grind them in and you get them into a net just quick as you can, because this thing is big, it's heavy, and the longer he's in the water, the more chance he has to spit this thing out.
Okay.
So that same brush pile that somebody would be going down the bank just flipping their jig into, the way I would fish that with a swim bait, if I was on a boat, I would line myself up parallel to the bank. I'll throw way past it. Then I'll get that bait coming back towards me. And then as I get about halfway past that tree, I'll twitch it and try to get them to react. Whatever fish that comes out and starts following it. If I got a follower, it depends on the body language of the fish. If they come in very slow and they're all lazy and stuff, I would probably not mess with them too much with trying to get them to react. I would normally come off of him and then I let him settle down, come back and get him from a different angle, and maybe even with a different bait. But if he comes in like red hot on it, you can twitch that thing and he'll smoke it.
What about right now, bedfish?
Bed fishing, or throw a gill bait.
And I would imagine there's 2 ways. You could throw a sinking one that put it right in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard something that's very similar with a swim jig, that if you will put the right glide bait or the right swim bait right across the top, they'll react and hit it without even going in the bed.
Yeah.
Just as a defensive mechanism, or they're just pissed off and they want to hit it because it's close. So what say you as far as the best type to go out? I'm fishing a tournament. Let's say I see. Yeah. Again, are you sight fishing with the glide baits more than anything? And that's kind of where I'm going with this. Let's say I pull up. We got a tournament Saturday on Hickory. Like I pull up and I see a big girl on bed. I mean, she's 7-8 pounds of pure largemouth beauty. Can't get her to hit anything at all. But all thing I haven't thrown at her is a swim bait. How are you targeting that fish with a swim bait?
I would throw past that fish and I would drag it back into the bed and I would try to make it look like it's eating those eggs. But I normally go with a bluegill profile, something that's small and easy for her to eat instead of something.
You're downsizing, so you're downsizing.
I would downsize. I wouldn't throw a 10-inch glide bait past a bass on a bed.
Okay, all right. So
I
that
would go
takes the
with
big baits
something-
out.
Something like this.
Okay, so
That's a Matt Lure's Ultimate Bluegill.
okay,
It stands up nose on the bottom.
so it's going to stand up more like this.
Stands up like that and looks like a feeding bluegill.
Okay,
And it's big enough where it's a threat. It's about the size of those bluegills that go by and start eating their eggs, but it's not, too big to run them off.
so you drop that right down in the bed.
And it's also not too small for them to just not mess with.
It sits up. It's just giving them a little bit of a movement, and they're going to run this off because naturally they feel it's eating their eggs.
Yeah.
What does this lure run?
That one's cheap. That one's cheap as far as swim baits go. It's like $24-25.
Now I've seen some that I would consider what I would call knockoffs.
Yeah.
You go to any store like Academy, even Bass Pro Shops, they have their own line, their own knockoffs. When it comes to a bait like this, and I'm a consumer, $24, or I can get what looks similar to it for $8. Is there a reason? You tell me, what's the reason for me to invest in the $24 one?
The realism that comes with this thing, it's got the fins and stuff that stick out.
Right, and that does. It's hard to tell on the camera.
Normally comes
It
with
has
a
the
little
fins that stick out.
little bit better quality parts and stuff coming with them too. You get like a little better hook, something like that.
So you're saying, so your components are a little higher end.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the difference in those. All right. Are you sight fishing with glide baits more than anything?
Sometimes, but most of the time I'm not.
Okay.
A lot of the time I'm throwing it past a piece of cover or something like that I see in the water, and then I bring that swim bait back by it.
Okay. How do you decide whether to throw a glide bait or a swim bait?
I like to throw glide baits on days where I'm just searching for fish. Days where I'm like looking around to find them, I'll use a glide bait just to locate them, figure out where they're at, and then I'll use a regular swim bait or like the mag draft, or I'll throw another bottom bait or something like that to slow down and catch those other fish.
Okay. What do you think about this, Paul? I'm like, when you're fishing,
Yeah.
You've got both baits. Do you have glide baits?
Yeah.
Okay. So when
Yeah.
what he said?
Don't say that name too loud.
Pistol.
Don't say that name on air.
Keep your mouth shut, Dave.
It's actually a pretty good one. It's a
First
really
rule
good
of Fight
Okay.
Club.
Stay quiet.
First rule of Fight Club is I can't name the baits that apparently are so hot that I can't name the baits, but
Hey,
we're gonna call the bait
I
X.
still make a little secret because the shells ain't out yet.
Okay, all right. So bait X.
Bait X.
Bait X. Again, what makes you decide to
the
throw a
jointed
glider?
swim bait versus the glide. I'm thinking probably I don't have a lot of the big jointeds like Jeremiah does. I love to throw a glider, especially somewhere unfamiliar. It's a good way to see fish.
Even if they follow it up, you're looking
Yeah,
for that. That's
right.
what you're looking for.
Think of it as a fish finder. Like they can be very curious animals, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of times they can come out and check stuff out. So when you're somewhere new, it can be a good approach. But to me, I think temp and I think kind of fish activity level,
Right.
because in my mind, my admittedly limited experience, I think of a jointed bait as something that I want to fish fast.
Right. Okay.
And you want to fish that fast bait when you have that warm water. Fish are very active, like their metabolism is running, and they're willing to really run something down and kill it.
I was just about to say that. Speed makes a lot of difference.
Okay.
And then so that glider, you're thinking more when you're trying to cover a piece of structure or when they're relating directly to cover. Like I throw smaller glides. So I generally they're the kind of the cover glide. So you want that more kind of deliberate presentation to give them time and use that drawing power for him to come out and have a look at it. And then you get him with that twitch and it starts to kick and run away from him. And that's what triggers him.
Right.
He says, oh no, that thing saw me, or, oh no, it's going to get away. And he has to decide right then, either he's going to kill that and eat it or he's going to leave it alone.
Okay. Perfect.
That's straight out of Tactical Bassin, but I find that
Oh no, those
That's
guys,
true.
hey, they
That's
know
how it goes.
They know
no,
what they're talking about. Yeah.
those guys catch a lot of fish.
What's the biggest fish you've go up one question right there if you don't mind? I think it was what was the biggest fish you've ever caught on a there you go, on a swim bait or a glide.
Biggest fish, biggest bass ever caught in a swim bait is about 8 and some change, and the biggest
Okay.
fish ever was a striper.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Would you throw one or more? Would you throw it more on a cloudy day than a sunny day?
I would use it either way, either or.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really matter. Normally on sunny days when I have more visibility and in clearer water is what you traditionally throw a swim bait in. But you can throw them pretty much wherever. Even if the water's like muddy, you can still get away with throwing a swim bait.
It's those conditions I think are similar to a lot of things. You start to with light level, you start to fiddle with your color a little bit, more so than like the bait itself.
See, I've been showing you like natural colors and stuff like that, but actually, this is one of the better ones for cloudy days.
And what is
That's
that?
a bone.
Bone color.
Bone is just a classic color in general at this point.
On cloudy days, I'll go bone, and on sunny days, I'll go something clear. The same, basically the same rules that you would use for jerk bait. They kind of apply here too.
Okay, all right, makes sense. Do you throw big swim baits or glide baits for spotted bass?
Yeah. Oh well, I'll just downsize. I'll throw 6 and 7 inch.
That was the next question. If you're attacking a largemouth of what we would call trophy size 8-pounder versus a spot of trophy size, which is let's just say 5-6 pounder.
And we were actually talking about it a little earlier with the mag draft thing. Like a 3 or a 4 pound largemouth can eat just about anything.
Yes,
like
their mouth has finally got to that point.
True to their name, they are all mouth at that stage.
Exactly.
And a spot eventually, his mouth and his head stop growing a little bit, and his body grows,
and he's limited. Okay.
And well, he's not limited in what he can eat. He's limited in what he can eat easily.
Right.
Good point. Good point. Right there.
I'll actually show you.
So he might attack a great big bait. We had we were fishing Team Maggie a couple weeks ago. I caught a 17-inch spot on a 7.5-inch sneaky Pete. Absolutely murdered it. But when you get to that size bait, that spot has to hit it in the right place to catch a hook. The smaller profile. On one hand, it's a trade-off, right? On one hand, you're hurting your number of big fish because you're opening the door for smaller fish.
Right.
But by decreasing kind of that dead space between hooks, you're increasing kind of your hookup ratio and the likelihood that spot hits somewhere where there's a hook and gets stuck good.
No, they pin it sideways in their mouth and wear it like a mustache.
Makes perfect
Usually, a lot of
sense.
time they hit it and they roll. They just get rolled up in them.
Michael Temples, it being a local lake, I like this comment. I fished with a jointed bait for the first time Saturday at Latham, and that, for those of you that do not know, that's about a 340 acre reservoir here in Dawson, Cherokee County. I would consider a Clearwater deep reservoir as it fishes a lot like Lake Lanier.
It's a highland reservoir.
It is. It is a highland reservoir. It is.
Yeah.
It is deep and it's clear.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's not as big as some, but
it fishes deep, really deep. So, and that's where the spots chased it into my boat. I will be adding some to my tackle tomorrow, and then that's just that goes back to the nature of a spot too.
Once they start jockeying for something.
You and I discuss that beforehand, or was it on the show? Where like
it might have been last week.
It might have been. Well, we've talked about how a spot, will just fight. They'll just fight over a bait or something like this. It's incredible.
I was with a friend of mine on Lanier. We were fishing breaking fish, and he was burning a fluke, and we literally watched it. And he caught, I think it's his PB at the time. We watched 3 fish hammer that, and finally one real big one just out muscled all those other small ones and just crushed, and that was the fish that we got.
So he was the alpha dog.
Yeah, when they get fired up and they're competing, and to Alex Green's point earlier, they're a calorie counter, right? And to that, like they also say when they're in a group, hey, if I don't get that energy and I don't eat that food, someone else will. Right.
That's my piece
and
of cake.
If I don't intake food, someone else does. That he's taking food out of my stomach.
Good point.
And they get set on kill, and there's no stopping.
And that's kind of why spots are more aggressive than largemouth as well. Anyway, that's why if the two get into the lake, a spot will eventually take over.
Yeah,
they've got that mentality.
Spots move around.
They're just
more of an open water. They're more willing to do open water.
And to your point, this is for size reference. This is the very first and only 6-inch mag draft I've ever bought. It's probably going to be the only one I will ever buy.
And why is that?
Because it doesn't swim the same, and
Is this
it's just
this
quite
is
the
not
same.
Huddleston's.
No, that's not
That's
a.
a-
That's
that's
a
okay.
like that.
Mag
That's
Track.
the 6-inch. This is the 8-inch, and then this is the big one. This is the 10-inch.
See,
Just for size
I've
reference.
never had one of those.
You can tell right on the surface though.
Hey.
Like if you look at the 6 versus the 8, like that
The
8
sheer
is so much
size.
floppier.
I mean, look, yeah, I mean, I
Shut
know
up,
what you're
Blake.
laughing, Blake, but listen, I've never had this in my hand, so
Yeah.
So much more flappy.
the plastic is more flexible, guy.
All right.
it's late in the evening. But listen, the producers over there laughing, and we can't.
Blake's just laughed.
But he's
himself to
right though. You
death.
see how
Look
much
at that,
more
though.
movement you get.
6,
Yeah.
8, 10.
Yeah.
The dangly flappy,
Yeah.
the flappiness of the 8
Well,
and
that's-
10 inch is much more.
Again, what we talked about earlier, I said with the 6-inch, I felt like I couldn't get good action without reeling it fast.
You see how much more
this
stiff it is?
8 is so much more flexible. This bait works at a slower speed, Blake. We killed Blake, everybody. He's dead.
You're about to kill me. I mean, seriously.
You see all the teeth marks in that white one though. I can't Blake.
Put that thing away for hurt somebody.
They like the jiggly one.
Damn right they do.
So you're saying the bigger, this is the more action you get. Oh, well, we just lost that sponsor.
That is what we're saying.
Yeah, wow.
It's the same reason a Kitech works better than a lot of other boot tails. Like softer plastic, more flex, better action.
You know, Michael Temples, it did get hot here all of a sudden. My personal, it went up to like, I got to run, I'm running a fever. But Blake's laughing in the background. I know, he sounds like a chicken. That's getting, somebody's murdering that chicken, baby.
I was trying to go with a bird. Chicken.
I was like, I've never heard Blake laugh like that.
He has the most like unexpected laugh in the world. What the fuck is that?
Oh my God, I'm too fat. I'm too fat.
If you want to look at him, you would not think he laughed.
Jonathan Farmer, we'd
don't
like to
ever
thank
say
Nofo
nothing.
Bruco
Don't ever say that
for
about
letting us
teeth
have
mark.
this moment together.
Teeth mark in the 8-inch. Hey, look at all the teeth marks in that one. Jeremiah,
Good beer makes good friends.
you know what? Oh, my blessed Lord. Thank you.
That did sound a bit like a turkey call, didn't it, Phil?
Listen,
The boy can't help it.
it is the
That's a win for
Blake-
me, though. I normally
Blake-
get Danny to crack from the comment section.
that
I
is,
just got
but
no
listen,
first-
Blake has the funniest laugh when he gets going.
He does.
You get me wrong, and I would stop.
Blake sounds like someone's choking a chicken. Well, yeah.
Right.
Usually we need Justin Speece to get off the rails this
Oh my God, I'm so glad Justin's not here. Oh, and I'm glad it's an hour and 54 in because a lot of people ain't here left to watch.
Man,
Yes, sir.
what was that I told you to say today?
I don't even remember now.
Talking about upstairs what we're calling it, the teenagers call it nowadays.
Anyway, it was something about TikTok. We can't talk
Don't-
about it. I
don't
don't
say
know.
that.
We're not even going back on
Don't
the
say that.
The-
No, don't. Whatever
Oh.
that is, don't say it.
Whatever Blake just said, I'm not repeating it. We done got in trouble with blue stuff in the past. We're not going there again.
We can't
All
be
right,
back
so-
on double secret probation.
Anyway, listen. All right. I'm hurting, Jeremiah.
I see. The last much longer.
You wasn't ready. Okay,
I'm hurting.
Okay.
Paul, bring this thing back home.
You ain't
Okay,
heard
we
this
got-
last
out.
one guy, though.
we got a few minutes left here.
Yeah.
I want you to reach in that box right in front of you.
Okay.
I want you to pull out Danny's favorite bait,
Okay.
and I want you to tell me about it. And when you would use it, how you'd catch fish on it, where you would use it.
Watch his face as I pull
Danny's
this out.
favorite bait? What now?
Watch his face as I
Pardon
pull
me
this
while
out.
he whips this out.
Oh my goodness. So again, now we got little 5 points here.
Little 5 points.
That's what this is. This is little 5 points disco rap by Spro. Again, right up in my personal opinion, next to the
you
Whopper
think
Plopper.
it's the most ridiculous bait ever made?
It is the most ridiculous bait ever made. Now, I'm not going to tell you it don't catch fish because,
Jeremiah, here's your big chance.
We've established that fish are stupid.
They're not the smartest.
Okay,
they're
so
not
Jeremiah,
analytical
come on,
at the
buddy.
very least.
Let's talk about this bait. Be honest.
Change this guy's mind.
Change my mind.
Gets bit, man. The thing gets bit.
But again, if it's brown, I understand.
But the color, though, it's not really about.
They put feet on the bottom of it, dude.
I know. They added that for detail.
Detail. Right. So
They added that just for the detail. But see, it's got a knocker in the back. In the butt section of it, it's got a big one knocker in the back.
That's right.
So it has a little bit more sound to it. It's not like a traditional rat bait, because a lot of them are silent and they
like going to the club looking for that knocker.
So you get that. Couldn't help yourself.
I couldn't help it.
That was the Whopper Plopper going right over here. Plunk, 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 plunk.
Give
And
me
you
that
just had
disco
to
rat
bite.
with a knocker in the back. There you go. Okay. Oh Lord. Help me.
So where do you go to the rat? Like if Danny wanted to take the disco rat that I've seen in this building and go catch a fish on it, where would he go? What would he do?
He would take this bait and he would probably just throw it up against the bank until he get bit. That's the easiest way to do it. Just go down the bank. And
Now, do you favor? Is that like a low light bait? I would think of that as being like a morning,
early morning,
like a
late
night.
afternoon, and at
But
night.
here's the thing. Now listen though, I've heard serious anglers say, well, it's got morning dawn colors, it's chartreuse, stuff like that. When I think morning dawn, and I think we can all agree to this, if you say, hey, I'm going to throw something that's morning dawn, we're thinking drop shot deep bait. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking finesse worm drop shot. So why in the hell does morning dawn on a top water bait work?
Well, they're only seeing the bottom part, and that's white.
So why are we
And the
painting
same
it morning dawn? That's okay, exactly. So
catch fishermen, baby.
That's what my point. Why can't we do if I got a pet snake and I go to buy mice or whatever for it, I'm gonna get either solid white or I'm gonna get a gray or brown mice or rat with a white stomach.
They don't see all that. They just see something good to eat.
It just don't make sense to me. But I just think they probably sell a million of those just brown with a white.
Plus, this thing does all kinds of different stuff. You can get it to crank, you can get it to wake, you can get it to
You
walk.
can crankbait that thing.
Yeah, if you hold the rat tip down and you crank fast enough, it'll go underwater and bounce off of stuff like a square bill.
How deep can you get that thing?
Not very deep, maybe just like 3 feet.
But you can get it down that far.
Yeah, it'll get down.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Paul, for you take off, don't forget my worms. Speed said, all right. So, again,
You'll get nothing and like it.
That's exactly right. Seriously, are you saying that the 8-inch mag draft is much better than the 6-inch? My thought was the 6-inch would draw more strikes. What say you?
6-inch will get more bites. 8-inch will get bigger bites generally because it's a bigger bait. But I very much like the 8-inch. It's my favorite size. I like that more than the rest of them. I throw that more than the 6 and the 6 because I never really use it. That's the first one to buy. And the 10-inch because the 10-inch you're trophy fishing. That one you're just going for bigger than average size fish.
All right. So here's a name that I have never seen before on our show, and I want to thank you to it. And I hope I'm not about to murder it. Maradiega Media. Maradiega.
How about them Coogan baits, though?
How about them Guggen baits?
Don't throw them.
But hey, listen, thank you very much for showing up. That we appreciate you. I haven't seen that name before.
Here's a cool one.
Yeah, what is a cool one? Fish Atlanta. While you're pulling out that cool,
I don't know.
one.
You shook your head. You're not a Guggen guy either.
You're not a Guggen guy. Okay, I
don't know.
Personally, I'm not a Guggen
me personally,
man.
not into the hype. They might be the greatest thing ever.
I don't like anything.
I'm not going to down them. They might be the greatest thing ever.
I think they suck.
Okay.
Straight up, they suck.
Okay.
And they're overpriced.
I tried to be diplomatic.
I'm not. I'm gonna call it like I see it. The 6-inch mag draft swims great. People throw it on too heavy of a line, and the line kills the action. And that is from Fish Atlanta.
like-
He makes.
Does he?
Yes. No. He makes them. He was one of the ones that.
I feel like at 6 though, you could get into a more traditional like soft swim bait, like a Kitech or a Rage Tail or something.
fish to 12.
That you can
12
go
to
like
15
super
pound line.
duper slow and still get the right action.
He's the one, if I'm not mistaken, and I know his name and it's slipping me right now, but he will take.
Thanks,
Or
Jules.
he used to take a gizzard shad and would skin a gizzard shad, take a
Yeah, he
glide
put
bait,
the actual skin on it.
and put the actual skin. That's a hell of a lot of
That's
work.
brutal.
Yeah, he makes.
Well, that's because it wasn't. That's
That's
why
crazy.
it wasn't cheap.
Right.
I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's too expensive. I mean, you got to pay for something like that if you want something. But that's some work.
He makes the HPH, the high power herring, and He used to do it with the real skin, but he doesn't anymore.
Okay, all right. So I just heard that. I know he fishes. God, I know your name, bud, and I wish you'd remind me of it. But if you don't want to say it, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. And it used to be a hammer. He probably still is on Varner, back when Varner was in the heyday. So if you
once a hammer, always a hammer.
Once a hammer, always a hammer. But Varner was still used to be the lake, and I remember he used to definitely show pictures back in the. And God, I'm probably aging myself. I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, something like that, on the GON forum that you're on all the time. Randall, that's right. Randall Kirkpatrick. There we go. I knew it was on the tip of my tongue. Opinions, go up real quick. Up. Your other up. Right there. Sewer rat. Opinions on the Huddleston 68.
Great lure, great beginner bait. Skip's okay. You got to be careful with the 68 though, because it will get the tail bit off. It's a really good lure though. I normally throw it in the ROF 5 or the ROF 12. I'll go with the ROF 5 in shallower water though. And also when the ROF 5 tends to get snagged a little bit less because it's not as heavy. When Ken makes these baits, he's got the weight on the harness and stuff is mostly in the head. So it'll get wedged in between rocks and stuff like that.
What do you think is the most important of a custom swim bait? What is the most important feature that you're looking for when you're buying it?
The most important feature is the action and
the action.
Right. They do not all swim the same.
They don't at all.
Okay, all right. So
even in the same size category, they don't.
I'm nowhere near this with all the custom stuff. They just some of them have it and some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
What about guys that are of a smaller stature that don't want to throw a 7-Eleven rod? Is there an alternative swim bait rod on the small? Is there a good swim bait rod that's 7 foot under, or a kayak guy?
There's a handful.
So we'll go with what you think and what you think. So we'll go with you first, Jeremiah. What rod would you use if you were in a kayak? Would you still use one that big, or?
I mean, honestly, if you're going to throw smaller swim baits and you want a cheaper rod, you can just go with a flipping stick. You could. It's not a swim bait rod, but it'll get the job done.
It'll get the job done. All right. What about you?
A lot of the smaller baits, like anything an ounce and a half, you can go with a flipping stick or an extra heavy or whatever. I'm throwing a Dobbins Fury 795 SB.
That's a good one.
And I throw it in the kayak all the time. Love it.
I
Good
think
rod.
it's a toss up between the iRod Genesis and the Dobbins Fury.
Yeah,
it's one or the other.
Yeah, that Fury's a good rod. It won't break the bank. If you're just looking to get started and you want to throw the smaller baits that are still big,
right,
and kind of decide whether or not it's really for you, I think that's a great starting point.
At what point does a swim bait go from a small swim bait to a medium swim bait to a large swim bait?
A medium swim bait I would consider to be 7 or 8 inches. A large one would be 9 inches plus.
So 6 inches and under, you say small.
Yeah, there's a couple of 5s and 6s out there. Those are
So,
small.
but I mean, a 6-inch swim bait's not little in and of itself, but that's how you categorize it. Up to 6 inches is small.
You guys, what did you catch your giant fish on Rocky?
Oh, it was a mag trick worm.
How big is that mag worm?
I would say probably 8 to 10 inches.
And you just told me that a 6-inch swim bait is a big bait.
I'm just saying. Yeah, well, I guess I get your point, smartass. But you know what? But you know what I'm saying. I mean,
it's a meteor bait. Like you got more body depth and there's more kind of body. To
okay,
it,
I got you.
What pound? It's not out of bounds.
What pound test are you throwing these swim baits on again?
25 for the medium stuff, 30 for the really, really huge things, and 20 for the smaller stuff.
If I want to throw one of them bait sanities, them big bait sanities we got up to the 9-inch, what are you throwing them on?
Explorer Glide.
Big boys.
25 or 30.
Braid or fluoro, did you say?
Co-poly.
Co-poly.
Or you can go braid the leader.
Have you ever thrown anything that big?
No.
Would you? Stripers like them.
Well,
I'm not looking to trade quite that many bites for size.
Yeah.
So you're looking more
I'm about that action, cuz.
Okay, so you're looking for, but you're tournament fishing, and you want you're looking for those.
I want something that I can at least get a few bites on in a day.
Right.
You're probably going to go with like the 6-inch bull shats and the smaller S waver and stuff like that.
Like a 168 waivers, bread and butter. Sneaky Pete, if I was on a largemouth lake where you got this big fish eating giz. Like,
let's make somebody mad. What is the absolute worst swim bait you've ever used? That was of a quality. I mean, let's call them out. Let's see. A worst. I'm not saying something you buy at Walmart. You spent $100 on whatever it was. You got it in your hand, and you're like, "This absolutely blows."
What did I spend my money on?
Why did I spend this? Do you have
That
one
would
of
have
those?
to be you. You've got the collection.
There's a handful that I didn't really like. First one probably the dual hardcore twitching ninja. I didn't really like that one. It's a glide bait. It just wasn't where a lot of the other baits in the same price range were. There's better stuff at the same price range.
Right.
I bought one. It's not a bad bait. It was just too big at the time. I bought a Madness Japan Ballum 300. That's a 13-inch multi-jointed bait, and it weighed
13-inch. Can you imagine
8-9
throwing that all
ounces?
day?
It was heavy. You couldn't even cast it. You just kind of had to lob it.
And you were throwing that for bass.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's kind of like a huge bull shad or a huge bull herring. You throw that thing, you burn it, and then you do the figure eight technique that the guys do for muskie. You should see the videos of the Japanese guys. They'll figure eight it real hard, real fast next to the boat, and bass will come up and grab it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. What is the absolute best number one, without a doubt, in your mind, swim bait of any type that you have ever used in your life? Number one, numero uno on the mountain.
I got more trust in the mag draft, the 8-inch mag draft, than anything else.
Okay. That's the one with all the teeth marks in it.
Yep.
What's the most you've spent on one bait?
The most I spent on one bait. At once?
The most expensive bait you've ever bought, swim bait or glide bait.
I got a bunch that are like neck and neck.
Okay, just give us a couple examples.
Well, this is one of them. Anybody who knows what this is, you are the real MVP. This
You're
bait,
the real MVP.
Give that to him. So it's
give it to me so we can get on the.
Give it to Vanna.
Vanna. All right,
That's
Pat, tell me about it.
Roman mate negotiator. That thing is hand carved by a little Japanese man named Toshinori Takayama out in Japan, next to Lake Biwa, where the world record largemouth was tied. He makes a bigger version of that. Tied. Not broken.
And let me tell you something. We don't count it. It's American. It can only be American. But all right, go ahead. Keep going.
It's a smaller version of the one of the holy grails of swim baits, the Roman mate mother, which is a $500 bait, and that thing is 12 inches long and I believe 10 ounces. I actually have one of those coming.
All right,
but I didn't spend $500 for it.
Now, my question would be like, people get attached to a lot of different weird things, and they start to collect.
Yeah.
Do you buy that bait to fish it? Do you buy that bait to have it?
Both.
So for you, it's a both thing.
There was a lot of hype around it, and also I wanted to see how much of the hype was.
You want to see what the hype's about?
I was like, what's all the fuss about? Because these things are super hard to get. They only drop like a handful of times a year, especially like special colors and things that come out.
Would you consider yourself to be a collector though?
Yeah, sort of.
I would say so.
Why do I buy stuff to fish them?
But you fish with every single thing at least once a year. Everything in these boxes you throw at least one time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time you'll take it out.
There's only a handful that I don't pay as much attention to.
Do you prefer the depths or a mega bass glide bait?
I prefer the depths. The depths is way easier to use. The mega bass is not as user friendly. And if you don't know what he's talking about, I've got one in here with me in a bait wrap. It's actually in this one, my bad.
While you're doing that, what is the best skipping mid-size swim bait to skip with?
I would say the mag draft. You can't skip the HUD, but it has the you can't skip the HUD. It's just not as easy as the mag draft. The thing just kind of goes across the water a lot easier. Okay. The thing about the mag draft, though, skipping it, though, is that the hook could come out the harness.
Okay.
And it'll mess up sometimes, so you got to be careful of that.
All right.
The one that you are absolutely the most confident in when you tie it.
Mag draft.
Good Lord.
Mag draft and the Urashi glide.
All right. Pull me back up there.
Mega Bass Ice Slide 262. That was the other one that he was talking about. That thing is very sensitive, though. If you bend the tail even a little bit, it doesn't work quite the same anymore.
Listen, this right here in my hand is what I call a snit. It's your standard 9-inch trout that the DNR stocks here in North Georgia. I mean, I have caught trout and been happy with
trout
this.
that big.
That's what I'm saying. I've eaten trout.
I will eat trout that big this year.
Exactly. What knot does one tie? I love that name, Maridiega. Hey, did I pronounce that right? Maridiega Media.
Yeah, that's all right.
What knot does one tie for such an expensive bait? It better be a damn good one.
I tie a Palomar to the clip.
Palomar to the clip. The old standard Palomar.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got nothing no fancier than that. You
Nope.
ain't coming up with okay
It's not
Palomar.
a
There you
need.
go.
If the Palomar know how to work on tuna and marlin, it'll work on bass.
Fair enough to me. Have you ever thrown the IMA Glide Fluke?
I'm a glide fluke.
I'm a glide fluke.
I thought about trying it, but I kind of backed out of that one.
Perfect pronunciation. Well, buddy, it only happens every so often. So thank you very much on that. So did we get his best, his favorite?
Yeah.
Okay, we
The
got your
comparison
favorite.
that he was trying to make that was to the depths 250.
I'm not even gonna touch it. You can take it out of the box. I'll break your box. See, that's what I'm saying. You're like it's like you got, you buy those toys and you can't really play with the toys, but if you keep them in the box, they're more valuable. If you have the original box, let's see.
Yeah, it's got the little dressed hooks in it.
Look at this.
Like
Now,
that makes it's something about the feathered hooks makes me think musky bait there.
That one,
like
I got
carp to me.
yeah,
The orange colored. It's carpish. Carpish. That's
You don't
probably
think that
the
they
word.
eat carp?
Huh?
You don't
I think they eat carp, but I tell you what, I don't think that carp colored baits are really high on a bass angler's radar. Do you? I mean, in all
No,
honesty,
probably not.
that
But-
gold
but-
color though.
I agree. I absolutely, I 100% agree. But
Or like,
when
what
I
is
go,
it? Is it Panic down in South Georgia? Panic Pond. They stock with all goldfish.
Makes sense. But like right here in North Georgia, if I'm going to one of the fine establishments like Fish North Georgia, or any of our local tackle shops around here, I don't go in thinking to myself, I want a carp colored bait. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not discounting, but you see what I'm saying? In your mind, you don't. In your mind,
it's something that we bring up a lot is like knowing your audience when you go fishing.
oh, sorry, buddy.
I mean, do you want a carp colored bait to fish a herring lake?
There's not a lot of people that throw baby bass either, but that gets bit.
Probably not.
Baby back. So good. Both good points. If you break one off, do you try and go retrieve it back? I would go swimming.
I do.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Oh, come on. If it costs $500, I'm going in after it.
if it costs
I'm
$500,
paying
I'm
somebody
not
to
gonna
come get
throw it nowhere where that's too risky.
So you throw that in open water. You ain't throwing that down in brush. and
Normally,
getting-
those baits that are that expensive, they're open water baits anyway. Nobody's gonna throw. I mean, you can throw a rubber mother right up next to a dock, but I'm gonna throw over open water or a depth 250 out over open water and try to draw fish out. I'm not gonna.
Tim Wyatt, nothing better than the Palomar. Hey, listen, I agree, but I just honestly,
You ain't tying no triple San Diego jam.
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, is there not a bait that I can't pronounce, or a knot that I can't pronounce? I asked Blake. Blake was tying up some knots on some of our rods earlier today. He was setting them up for me because he's a great kid and I appreciate him. And I said, "What knot are you tying?" He goes, "Hell, I don't know." The one that I'm tying, and so it's interesting knots and all like that. So
That FG knot is the most tedious thing in the world. Well,
that FG, you gonna get that bug right there?
That's a mosquito. It's
Well,
not the biggest mosquito.
It's
I've
not
ever
the
seen in my
biggest.
life.
So can't fix what ain't broke. That's exactly. It's all about the double shindo. Okay, hey, listen.
All right.
There you go. It is. Now I will tell. Look at Blake. Blake's got that cursor up there at the 2 hour 13 mark. Like he's telling us we gotta go home.
Hey, you want to take us home?
Oh, Blake's got to go to bed early.
I thought y'all was y'all fishing the Hammonds tomorrow.
We were going to, but Blake said he couldn't.
oh,
was today.
come on, Blake.
We were going to do that. All right. So yeah. Did you see the weights on that?
No,
Oh no, 20s and the upper teens. Yeah, no, I
That's
forget
wild.
his name, but whoever won that tournament, they were kicking some serious butt. Okay, so again, to wrap it up, I'm gonna give you the last say real quick. If you got one thing you can say to anybody, let me ask you this question. Answer this question again. You think of this while I'm answering this question. I want your last advice on anybody with swim bait fishing, stuff like that for this time of the year right now. But is Fish North Georgia a physical store or location? Forgive my ignorance, looking to learn. Hey, listen, nothing ignorant. If you watch this episode, hey, we're good with any and all questions. It is a physical store. It's in Marble Hill, Georgia. The address is 11262 Highway 53, Marble Hill, Georgia, and the zip code is 30148. If you are coming from Dawsonville towards Jasper or vice versa, it's about halfway between. It is a little tan store right in the corner near the marble mines. That's the easiest way. Right now, we do not have a physical sign out front, but we're getting ready to have that, and we're going to open full time. Currently, it's kind of a as we decide to do it schedule. for example, this Saturday we're going fishing a tournament. We ain't going to be open. So, but eventually we're going to have full-time hours, and on those Saturdays we'll have somebody here stocking the store. So we are building it. You also can find us online at fishnorthgeorgia.com. Anything that we sell in the store is online as well, right there. From motors, electric motors, on down to the smallest of hooks and stuff. I want to say hello to my daughter because she always says, "Hey, Daddy," and if I don't answer her,
Hi, Tatum.
my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's a long night at home. So anyway, yeah, and here's an easy way. If you're driving by, first of all, you can text us. You can text me at 678-283-6700 or hit us at Fish North Georgia. Message us, do that and say, "Hey, you guys at the store today?" or "What's your hours?" and we'll tell you what we're working until we get full time. But if you're driving by and there's a black Ford Ranger or a gray Toyota truck, come on in. We're here. That's the easiest way. Real quick, what baits would you throw in the middle of the day? This is the last question. What baits would you throw in the middle of the day in the heat of summer?
Wake baits and multi-joint baits.
Wake
Early in the morning.
baits and multi-joint baits early in the morning. And again, I had asked you anything you want to tell anybody about the last little hurrah about swim baits.
We're in bedding season right now. Post spawn's going to be on the way. And then after that, the bluegills and other sunfish are going to start spawning. So I would say to get some of those gill baits and get ready to throw those bluegill shaped baits and colors around those brim beds, and you'll be surprised at what you pull out of there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What about you, Paul? Last word?
I will go with, and this is again something that Blake and I have discussed, that it is not a magic bullet. And that similarly to what Ryan Sheffield said the other week about topwater, it can very much be a mindset.
Mhm.
You have to be engaged and you have to be aware of what you're doing and you have to be committed and you have to throw and throw and throw and experiment. Yeah. Experiment and just kind of, you're going to skunk a lot in the beginning. And once you start to figure it out, you're going to be really surprised with the success you have.
Okay.
I always say that a lot of people aren't going to have, or probably not going to be successful throwing big swim baits at first because they like to catch fish too much.
Not patient enough.
Yeah. You like to catch 2-pounders enough, too much to sacrifice them.
Absolutely. That's perfect. So again, all right. So I'm going to bring us home now. Yeah, we did go a little bit longer, but we had a lot of fun tonight. A couple things I want you guys to remember, and I want you to share out there. Programming changes next week. The live show like tonight is only going to happen on Thursday night. All right, Thursday night, we're going to have Alex Green fishing, and Phil Hutchinson will be on.
And Jessica Green.
And I want to say, again, thank you to Blake, who did actually a pretty good job today.
He's killing it.
So that Paul could get on here and talk. And I that's great. Now I got two guys that can do it.
Yeah. He's killing it.
This is absolutely awesome. So we'll do that. I want to thank Jeremiah for coming in tonight. And it's always interesting to talk swim bait. And I know sometimes we get going down a rabbit hole and we take time away from you. But again, when you do drop some knowledge, it is awesome. Guys, if you want to know, thank you. We need all the luck we can get on Hickory Log this Saturday with the electric elites. If you guys want to, hit Jeremiah on the either at the GON forums, GON forums, or hit him on Facebook if you still got questions like spiral mental thoughts. He can answer. He can directly go to you with that. And again, do not turn on your snags. Look them straight in the eye so you don't take 145 mile an hour swim bait to the back. And again, we're going to bring back the podcast. It's coming back. And again, here's another thing too. If you guys have any suggestions of anglers, bait manufacturers, people in the know that you want to hear me sit down for an hour straight, normally those go an hour and a half. No comments. We're going to pre-record these and we're going to start dropping them again, just like we did in the beginning. If there's anybody you want me to go seek out and find and just talk to them, and you want to know the story of the person, let me know, because that's what the podcasts are all about. So we're going to bring that back next Thursday night, or we will also drop news on the following Wednesday nighter tournament. We'll be going as of right now at a Little Hall. Am I missing anything at all? We're throwing it out there. Thank you.
Like and subscribe. All channels. Fish North Georgia on Instagram, Fish North Georgia Facebook, Fish North GA on TikTok.
God, Paul, you're good.
What's the other one?
I forgot that.
Hell, I don't remember. Did we go Twitter?
I think we do have Fish North GA on Twitter.
It is Fish North GA on Twitter. We do have a Twitter. We got a TikTok. We got an Instagram. We got 2 Facebook pages, and we got a YouTube channel.
There you go.
Don't forget prices for the Wednesday nighter and times to either message me or you with ideas.
Okay.
Message Blake
Yeah.
or Danny for further information or input on the
Times.
official times and prize packages for the Fish North Georgia Wednesday night shootouts.
There you go.
That's what we're going to call it.
That's the name, Danny.
Is the
Austin.
Fish
That's what
North
it's
Georgia Wednesday night shootouts. We will be doing that. And listen, and also this, and Michael Temples will tell you this too. We welcome anybody that has a live well. I'm sorry, kayak guys, I'm setting stuff up for you. I'm setting stuff up for you. But on these Wednesday night shootouts, if you have the ability to keep fish alive, whether you're an electric only rig or whatever, you are welcome to come fish with us. So, guys, appreciate NoFo Brewery for coming on board. They probably watched this in the first time tonight. They're like, what did we get ourselves into? But I'm telling you right now, some kick-ass beer.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun because of you, NoFo. Thank you for coming on board.
And we definitely would like to do a live show from NoFo itself.
I like it.
I like that. Let's do a live that. And again, send us those things. Jeremiah, thank you very much for making the drive up here. It's always a pleasure you coming up here. And we will see you next Thursday evening, 8 o'clock, right here. Thank you.